It's a Saturday morning in sunny California at the Galen Center. Los Angeles is alive and well with its unique attractions and population, but the population that maybe is making the most noise, at least from what I've heard this morning, is right inside the Galen Center here for our ALGS Split 1 Playoffs Day 3, where we send 10 teams home right now, 10 teams in the afternoon, and of course, 20 teams to match point finals. Our crowd is alive and well. Make some noise if you're here in the Galen Center to kick us off an electric day of the highest stakes of Apex we have seen all year long, and it is only going to get better. My name is Rain Day. We have had a pleasure hosting over these past few days, and if you were watching right at 10 a.m., we apologize for the short delay, but we are back and we are ready to go from now on. And I am joined not just here on the desk by myself, but with three of the best analysts that we have to offer in the Apex community. Zephyr, Jayhawk, and Graceful joining me yet again, fellas. Zephyr, what a day we saw yesterday, but obviously today itself, that's the main story, looking ahead to sending 20 teams home and 20 teams to match point finals.
This is where the pressure's online. We get to the point where these teams know it's going to hurt. Any kind of mistake, given the fact that we're only working with these next 6 games, could be the difference between you on your way forward, the hopes, the glories, the dreams, the stories written, to potentially the flight on the way back.
Very poetic. I like the way that you approach that one as well. And thinking of what we're approaching today, I wanted to set that up because it's only a few minutes away. Players are getting ready behind us, but we have to look back at yesterday, Jayhawk, and the stories that unfolded. It was really one main one, but there was a lot of side stories as well, a lot of subplots that were important.
Yeah, that main one was Dark Zero, absolutely dominant. They broke so many records. I don't think I've ever seen a team play better than that set that we saw last night where DZ
Agreed.
just went crazy, but that did overshadow some of these other teams like Elevate. They had a great series, winning back-to-back games. That was a storyline coming into this LAN. They didn't have any wins during the regular season split, but all of a sudden they get here. They've got 3 wins to the group stages. They're really picking up momentum.
Pretty unbelievable to see a team with back-to-back wins get overshadowed by a team with back-to-back wins. Graceful.
Yeah, I mean, I've said it several times, perfect team play that I've seen, but it's also been a blast, you know, the couple of days and yesterday, the melting pots of playstyles we've seen. I'm looking forward to that so much, and now that there's even more on the line, you know, how will teams shape up?
And I think that's a great conversation. As we have seen the melting pot come in for the first 2 days, now the stakes are high. You are going home if you don't get it right. So all of the experimentation you've had up until this point, you got to throw it out the window into what is working, Graceful, and stick with the stuff that is. And if your game plan has not been effective, we've been talking about this, it might be time to throw it away and try something new.
Yeah, I feel like we underestimate as well of, you know, the buffs and the nerfs of groups is that sometimes when you have, you know, too many teams playing the same way that you do, it's congested on your side and you run into the teams that are playing for the same power spots. I talked about Alliance and, you know, and Dark Zero, and you can also talk about, you know, DSG and Aurora splitting groups, and you have to just think about adapting, like you say. You have to adapt, and now it's now or never. It's 6 games. There's no longer group. It's 6 games. You have time. Adapt to the zone, adapt to the playstyle. If not, you're going home.
Few teams I've been talking about, I'll talk about it later in the talent predictions. They've already told me at breakfast this morning they're doing something different. Jayhawk, how do you feel about this meta in general? Does it leave room open for teams to experiment and kind of take advantage of a meta the way that your videos and what we've been discussing in our past LAN history, like the Furia Seer comp that really just ran through something that was unexpected?
I do think there is room because with the Bangalore Bloodhound meta, fighting is pretty straightforward. You're going to smoke off the enemy teams. You're going to let your Bloodhound go crazy, but I think that if somebody's willing to be innovative, we could see them maybe expose some of the weaknesses of that comp that haven't been exposed yet because so many teams are not willing to stray from it yet.
And that is the thing, Ben. You have to have a bit of audacity in a moment like this. Championships are not given, they are taken. And so who is going to take it today is the question. We've got so many teams that we've looked at our eyes on, but yesterday it ended with really the conversation we started this panel with, which was Dark Zero. TSM was maybe a small light of what will they do? Will they show up? It wasn't the day for Hal, Reps, and Verholst that they wanted. They felt like they are not themselves yet. This is a big chance to prove it as we head into our winners in our second set of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Some of these teams that were kind of trying to make their staking claim in their last moments, especially those who are just on the edge of those cutoffs. And it's not just the TSMs, especially even for North America. We look towards Liquid and Complexity as well. Teams that are notorious, at least especially Liquid, for having some strong starts that come into this, especially on a play style that styles around that kind of aggression that we see teams like Dark Zero and Aurora successful with. they aren't quite up to that margin. But even still, once we hit that winners, they've managed to make it through alongside some other great names, like huge shout out to Red Rams, Crazy Raccoon as well.
Big opportunity to take a look, though, at what is at stake, because we're going to take a look at the standings. Obviously, Dark Zero well ahead. Jin Burton and Zero had no issues saying that we believe we are the best team in the world right now. But Jin Burton, there's still a lot to do. And in this winner's bracket, it's about as good as it gets in terms of their competition.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen a lot of dominance from them for sure. But it's also important, you know, going into the next round coming up is that you don't, first and foremost, not everybody can drop 248 points. not everybody can do it. You know, it's only, one can even say probably only them that can do it. But you need to stick into top 10. So, you know, I keep repeating consistency, 6 points per game, 6 games. All you need, just stick in top 10 for the rest of the day and you'll make it.
Spoken like a pro as well, trying to just get focused on what you can control and what you need to do. This, as a reminder for those watching at home, are the top 20 teams as of now. This is our winners bracket. They will play after the set that you're about to see starting in just a few moments behind us. So Dark Zero, Aurora, Alliance, TSM, SSG, Red Rams, I guess you got to mention it. Might be funny to some, might be painful to others, are going to be in this one. But coming up in our bottom 20, this is where it starts to get really intense, because you've got teams that are on the verge of going home, Jayhawk. Never a good feeling in any competition to risk everything you've worked for all year ending in just 6 games.
Absolutely, and this is where I think we're really looking to see who can be resilient, because the group stages, nobody got eliminated yet, and so all the games that you've played so far, although they mattered up until this point, you have to clear them from your mind, and you have to come in today fresh, realizing it's a new day, we have new games, and we got to make the most of our opportunity.
Well, if you need a reminder of how this bracket stage will work, we've had the group stage already. That placed all of our teams into round-robin games to play against each group and figure out who would be in these top 20 and bottom 20. Bottom 20 is playing right now in Elimination 1. 10 teams, and the bottom 10 of that will go home. The top 10 will go to Elimination 2 and wait the results of the winners' top 20. The winners' top 10, they'll go straight to match point finals on Sunday. So they will sit, they will watch the rest of the day and get ready to play in the finals with some extra points. And the bottom 10 will play in elimination round 2 against the top 10 of this group you are about to watch. Of course, Sunday, our match point finals, the most electric thing in Apex Legends esports, and maybe just in esports, BR esports in general. You have to get 50 points, and then you've got to win, or we go again. So exciting too. And I mean, Zeph, just thinking about it, I mean, you could feel the energy in the building, everyone, all the players. It has shifted today.
Yeah, not even just feel, literally hear.
Yeah, that's true.
As we talk about what's going on here in the Galen Center. But after all, when it comes down to it, we got to talk about the fact that this is the place of opportunity. I know there's a lot of pressure on the line, but something that I like that Jayhawk and Graceful have highlighted here is the fact that this is going to be your best opportunity to get this chance to show off what you may not have been able to do in some of our group stages. We've taken out some of the heavy hitters, your Dark Zeros, Auroras, your Alliances, and it gives these teams the opportunity where we've seen some cons, we've seen some potential macro clustering, as Graceful was pointing out, that potentially won't be an issue, especially for those who are standard highlights, but don't get the chance.
And speaking of highlight, Graceful, you've got somebody that you want to watch as we head into today. So let's focus on that first. You're up. Who do you got your eye on?
Yeah, I have my eye on Disguised because, like I said, I'm a big gameplay, you know, going into the analyst side of things, and the only reason they've been struggling is because they've been on the same side as other teams that have been dominated. Right now, going into this round, Disguised are free on edge, and we all know what they're capable of if they're able to play their game. But when you get intercepted by other teams, you know, they've been struggling, but I have no doubts that they will make it through this because they are a strong team. Their macro is free now. If they were to fall, no excuses.
Oh, let's go back to that. DSG, obviously an incredible team. It's Timmy, Designful Enemy. You see the crowd behind us lighten up. They're on the cameras very soon. Timmy standing up, waving to the crowd. The crowd standing up as well. They know what he can do. One of the biggest names in esports, turned content creator, pro, and now just doing everything at the highest of levels. It's something you just don't see in our industry very often. Timmy, an example of that, and joining Enemy and Design. Those are some shooters right there. But let's just talk about another team that you wanted to highlight, Zephyr, because this team showed up in our 3 package before, but they're not a team that everyone talks about all the time.
No, Omit kind of flies under the radar. This is a roster that has struggled to make it to land before when we talk about previous iterations between LFO and Start a Fight before forming the super pack between Light, Blast, and Lufka. And I want to really point out Lufka here, especially alongside his time with Ascend, has been an absolute staple of getting that team to land. And of course, here currently leading them on their best foot forward. Now, notably, they've had their struggles in groups, but it comes down with the at least caveat that when we look at them on World's Edge, have been absolutely fantastic. 75% of the points right now have come from that split. And notably, when we go back to Stormpoint, we talk about Red Rams, BR Demons, and one more here that have been contesting them through and through. This time around, Omit, they get Lightning Rod to themselves, they get Harvester to themselves, and especially when we talk about the at least density of where we've seen some of these zones, they should have the opportunity to get to play the game the way they want to without being so pressured by some of these other rosters.
Let's not forget Lefko was 1 play away from being a LAN champion himself with the Sin. So you've got to give credit where credit is due. In the losers, elimination, you would not expect a team to be giving up at this point, and this is certainly a team that knows they've got the experience to get all the way through today, which is a bit of a grueling task. But Jayhawk, I want to focus on you now as we get the stares from Omit. I like it. That's game face right there. Mamba mentality. Or not.
No, no.
Or we'll come back to what that is. Jayhawk, I want to focus on you, though. You've got a team to watch, and this is a special one.
Yeah, the BR Demons coming from South America. It felt like coming into this land, they were getting a lot of hype. They're performing really well in scrims, but now we find them here in the elimination bracket. I was looking at some of the numbers to see what was going wrong. World's Edge, they got 53 of their group stage points. That's over half of what you need to get to the cutoff. So we go to Stormpoint, and that's where the issues lie. Only about 30 points from that map. 72% of which were coming from KP. That is the largest KP to placement disparity of any team across either map. But the issue here isn't that they're KP heavy, it's that disparity is because they don't have any placement points. They only got 9 placement points across their 9 games. Only 2 of them did they place top 10. So clearly there's an issue there. But this go around, they've got SkyWest Trials on World's Edge. They have Cenote Cave completely uncontested on both maps. And I feel like with those 2 strong POIs, a clear issue that needs to be fixed on Stormpoint, we got to survive a little bit longer. We've got to get into these end games, and we got to rack up some of those easy placement points alongside our KP, which is already solid. I think if they can fix those things, then the BR Demons could be responding and showing that South America deserves a little bit more respect.
Great point. Great shout out to South America as well. We love our South American fans, those who have been able to attend. I got to shout out PB and John, who's always coming into my chat as well, who's a big proponent of South American Apex Legends professional journeys to get here and be in this moment. We love to highlight all of our regions. This is the Global Series for a reason. You know, I guess it's time, guys, as we move into it to get the party started. And that means that it's talent predictions. That's right. Let's see what we have said who is going to do well today. I got to start with mine. Oxygen Esports. I saw Psycho earlier this morning, and I was about to put them down, but then I saw him. And I asked him, what are you guys doing? How are you feeling? I know this team has the ability to be in winners and compete. He said, we're going to do something different today. We realize what we did wrong. We are going to make some changes. I said, can you tell me what those are? He said, no, it's a secret. So I'm very excited about that. Hopefully that secret pans out. It's a little bit of what we were talking about, Graceful, of teams deciding it is time to make a difference. But Zephyr, Kinotrope Gaming, why them?
I'll tell you what, when it comes down to the APAC North region, I feel like this is a team that just barely missed the cutoff off of a late start. We talk about one of the first series that they were in. They fell down into that lower top 10. Mia K, though, across the board has been an absolutely dominating force. And for this roster, this is another one of those scenarios where we move them into a range of really, really nice POIs. Of course, they're on what is both Launchpad for Stormpoint, and of course, later on today when they hit Climatizer.
You know, I can see that Jayhawk, we went Oxygen as well. Quick point, are you feeling just confident about them like I am?
Absolutely. They're one of the most calm teams that I've ever seen, so they can respond to pressure.
Now, Graceful, you are with our competitive subreddit for DSG. You feel that they're going to take it today. I would not be surprised if they pop off with a big win.
I am all in on DSG simply due to the fact that they're uncontested. They're not going to get surprise landed on by Alliance. They're going to be owning it up. They're safe on, on Edge now. It's all up to them. Literally, the whole gameplay is like it's for them to take. And I really, truly believe that they have what it takes. And, I've talked a lot with Designful as well, and he is he is fired up. I'm ready for it.
Well, the merch is pretty insane here. If you haven't seen the DSG merch, it is fire and pretty hilarious as well. Now, I know you and I are wearing green, which is important, but of course, we are not on a green screen here. And if you actually like that meme, if you enjoy the B stream, if you enjoy Twitch drops, well, guess what we've got in store for you today? It's Saturday, and you can earn just by watching a not a green screen holo spray. We've kicked it up, though. You got to watch 60 minutes. So I hope you have a good Wi-Fi plan or a good cell plan if you are in the building, but I'm sure that you're committed enough to be here. You'll be committed enough to get this one. And Sunday, that ALGS gun charm, I love the pun. That is going to be good, and you're going to make sure you have to watch our Match Point finals there. So we hope you're enjoying, whether you're watching on Twitch, on YouTube, or any other platform as well, following along with us on PlayApex Esports on X. And as the crowd starts to get a little excited, they know it is time to kick off the beginning of our Saturday. 10 teams are going home right now. 10 teams fighting for another chance at survival. And to start it off, we've got two of the best in the business, Vicky, Kitty, and Gino.
Thank you so much, Rain Day. Good morning, LA. Are you ready for some Apex?
Oh, they are so ready. Crowd has shown up today.
I'm so excited here as we get started. Get ready for our elimination bracket 1. Crazy heavy hitters here, but it's been such a fantastic time throughout the course of this weekend, Genome. I mean, what a way to end the day yesterday with Dark Zero. Now we have to look at the teams here that may have to fare off against a squad like that is absolutely insane, but saw my disguise pick out here, you know, subreddit kind of a little bit on my side when it comes to that, so we got to see how that plays out or if I'm cursed.
Yeah, look, the thing I like about this first round of elimination bracket is that, you know, the teams who didn't do so well over the first 2 days, you know, we do get to see them shine now. We take out some of those absolute beasts like Dark Zero who just soak up all the points, and here is their time to make it happen, make it work, and advance to elimination bracket round 2.
And of course, as per usual, Genome, we're going to be starting on Storm Point here for this first round of elimination bracket, where some of these teams may find that success story more so on Storm Point, maybe get that momentum rolling before they find that lackluster performance that they've been seeing themselves in on World's Edge.
100% right, Vicky. There's definitely a couple here that we have to talk about. I mean, Heroes versus NDY. That's going to be a contest down at Devastated Coast there. Heroes, one of the ones who really rely on their points. Na'Vi as well. Both of those teams have more than 70% of their points so far in this tournament coming from Storm Point, and yet both of them are contested. Does that spell doom for those two?
Actually crazy to fight for Devastated Coast out here when there's such lackluster loot, and there's so many teams in the area dropping in those neighboring POIs. I know Na'Vi versus NTC, we know that they're going to be splitting that Coastal Camp Echo HQ zone like you're mentioning here before, but nice little overview as more of these squads will at least have their respective POI to loot before finding that rotate.
Plenty of others to look at here as well. You know, we looked at Kenotrope a little bit earlier down there at Launchpad. That was my prediction. They've already, one of the, 7 teams out of the 20 here who have won a game so far. And also, they are the one with the most top 5s out of any team in this elimination bracket. And I bring that up because you get to the top 5, then maybe you get taken down by a Juggernaut.
All right.
By a Dark Zero, right? But if you take them out of the
Match 1, here we go.
I believe the Kenotrope can now shine and really come through and take some of those wins, convert some of those top 5s here.
It'd be perfect, especially with the way that they play for that final circle. We've seen it go into their legend comps as we take a look at maybe some things that could change up here. Wondering, Riddle Order sticking to that vow, calling those quick rotates, never to change. You're going to meet them up there too.
Catalyst for MDY White, the only team I think that so far has been going towards that controller character, seeing a little bit of Crypto, a little bit of Watson, but I mean, I'm not entirely surprised, Vicky, because at this point, when your tournament life is on the line, people tend to go to comfort picks. They tend to look at the meta and say, who are we to not be playing Bloodhound, Bangalore, and Caustic? If everyone else does, do we really want to risk it on a pick like Catalyst that no one else is playing? I mean, wow, that takes some balls there for MDY White to go with that.
It really does, but if you're comfortable and you're finding that success story like we've seen with Disguise and Design being on that Wraith, heck, why not? It's been working out for them in the past. We can see if it works out in a lobby like this. See the drop ship coming through from east to west. Right down the center here for our squads. There's that 50-50 that we were expected to see over by Coastal Camp. But Wongtong Dumpling moving over to Pylon. They could try to see if they have the opportunity as this early fight is going to come in from Gear Gaming. Oh, immediately was able to get that sniper tower up to try to get the high ground. That means they're also going to be able to have snipers up there too, since that's where they usually spawn. Gear Gaming losing out on some shields, but they at least were able to get, as you can see here, Panic with a double RE45 and a Dream to work with. Again, still on that slight low ground. Do they want to loot up a little bit more here? As time is ticking, Joker's going to be able to get right back onto the high ground.
Yes, this is a big change from what we were expecting. Never to change, still here, sure, but Na'Vi have gone elsewhere, and instead Geared Gaming have taken on this contest.
We're trying to find a shot with that charged Senti, having to avoid the arc chart, drops down in time. Trying to reposition here, but with them only having the Sentinel, I mean, trying to make magic happen, he gets a shot off of it, but only Korn is left for Never to Change with only a Mozambique. Good luck with that. Never to Change, the first squad to be sent to the lobby, as Geared Gaming are going to be able to reset quickly from that.
I mean, gosh, he hit both of the Mozambique bullets he had left in the chamber. What more do you want him to do, right? Geared, they will walk away with that. And yeah, that was the only contest in the end. So I guess Na'Vi just kind of egoed Geared Gaming in lobby chat and said, hey guys, we're going mill, don't even think about it. Geared swap with them, go down to Coastal Camp. And at the very least, they do walk away with that initial win. Heroes, however, did get devastated close to themselves. So that very much will help them with NDY going over to Echo HQ.
A lot of eyes on Luminosity, a team that's so quick on the rotate. I saw some signs in the crowd. Sweep the Angry Dragon behind his two teammates, but omit another team that has been very impressive. I mean, I've had my eyes on this team going through the Pro League, but you mentioned them earlier when it comes to that lackluster win record on Stormpoint, but the success story that we could see from them on World's Edge.
Yeah, considering they're the only team in this group, in the elimination bracket, I guess I should say, that have 2 wins so far, and that was against the big dogs. So, you know, if they can get a decent amount of points here on Stormpoint, that's a fantastic omen for how they go in this bracket stage.
Looking over at How and their Legend composition, one of the teams that have been sticking with the Crypto, the Valkyrie, they're going to take the Skyward Dive to the skies. The EMP could come in clutch with the amount of caustics riddled in this lobby as well.
Very interesting, right? I mean, they've got all 3 of their legends are essentially non-meta picks. But I think it works because you've got the Valkyrie that gets you into position, and if you can get there before all of the other caustics in the lobby, you can get that interception pylon set up. And all of a sudden, a lot of that aggressive power from the caustics, the Nox gas grenade, can get eaten up. I mean, it's crazy to think that, you know, that ultimate just completely snuffs out, completely counters caustic if it's placed in the right position. But yeah, that's the power of Watson right now.
And then you look on the other side, and you look at the double big boys, Valkyrie. I mean, have we taken a step back and maybe gone right back to, what, 2021, 2022 with that comp that we've seen before?
Like, do you get excited when you see it, Gibby? Because I get excited when I see it.
I do. We saw him for so long within competitive Apex. Obviously, he's taking a step back, but then seeing him here and then, at least on Stormpoint, when you have access to that dome on top of the Tridents, really comes in clutch for these rotates. A team that doesn't have to worry about that. Oxygen Esports. So when I was making my team preds, I was looking at Oxygen and Disguise before I made my final decision on Disguise. And Oxygen, what's really interesting is we know the potential of this team, but what happens to the squad on Stormpoint is like, well, they've found that failure. They have not been able to find any success here. I mean, this is a team that hasn't even hit top 3 or a dub, as C9 now in some trouble. Naughty's gonna be able to pop that shield cell, try to avoid these nades, though they're gonna have to dance around this before repositioning. But Chaotic Munch and Saucer take so much damage.
They'd rather be in the middle there than in this tiny little... I mean, it's kind of like we're going back to fish farms here, but I think Cloud9 are the ones about to get farmed.
Oh my, so quick out here. Saucer are now in some trouble. They're avoiding not just the nades, the missile swarm on top of that here too. Mentioned Kino Choke a while back, and Mia K now gonna be able to get that finish. LG in also some trouble in the feed as MDY White get eliminated. Can Saucer get the reset with his med kit?
Can't believe they haven't been pushed even further yet, considering they had 2 knocks and a finish. As we talked about, LG within the next circle, with the information as well, just moving over from Devastated Coast. I mean, they've had to come all the way down from Zeus Station, so that's a fairly speedy rotate from the North American team.
You know, it was just a matter of time before we saw this Echo HQ zone, and you can see how many squads that have already gotten ahead of the curve on making this rotate. C9 somehow stay alive, and they're calling in the Moby here to see if they can get Chaotic up. They get scanned, though, from the squad right on top of them, setting up that nade just to build up some space. Bangalore ult called in.
I think that might even be the defensive bombardment.
Oh, wow, okay. And at least they're able to get through the lip without getting hit here. The EMP, other squads are focused on the teams that are rotating through the area. Another scan to make sure if they're safe enough to try to go for this res. But look at Kino Choke, they are not letting loose on this pressure. How is he getting these nades? He's juggling like he's in the circus right now. We saw like 4 nades before, sending 2 more out. He's got the thermite ready to go.
I mean, my question here to Kinotrope is, if you're not going to full send it, right? You know you've knocked 2 of them. What's the point in continuing to use nades at that point? I mean, if you're not actually going to get in there and finish those KP off by yourself, you're kind of just wasting util at the start of the game when it could be much more impactful later on when everybody's making their rotates.
Riddle Order get eliminated. GRD coming in. 17 squads left. Geared Gaming, let's not forget that not only were they able to win that 50-50, but they've been holding it down here, preventing other squads from moving in. 6 KP already going to this squad. So many squads already going into that middle part of Echo HQ before they make that next move. But squads like Na'Vi, Passion UA, even BR Demons who take their time to rotate will be coming in from that west side.
Well, look, shout out to Saku for chucking out 1 defensive bombardment before he went down. At least, you know, got a small glimpse of the old times there.
Disguise on a mission. On their own side quest, going from Evil Harvester to Evil Harvester. The ring consoles available to them.
Oh, let's go, Timmy.
And it's been the story of their entire tournament so far. It doesn't matter at which point you've pulled up that the map stream. You kind of just see them hugging the edge of the ring, somewhere around there, and making their way in very, very late. Tom Young Kung as well has taken their sweet time on the rotates.
And it's for reasons like this. TYK probably also trying to prioritize those Evil Harvesters within their pathing. They're going to be able to get that.
Definitely want Timmy's team to win or LG.
More so by the edge.
You know, my boy Sweet is in there.
Taking a page out of Fast and Furious, going to be able to wrap around the mountain. Saw a little bit of pressure from Na'Vi, and that's why they're forced to go through the back. But we know how many teams already in that backside. We saw where Gear Gaming was before.
Let us go there.
Bangle called in as BGB. Boogie Boarders are going to be hanging out in the back, but it's taking their time while playing on the edge of this fight for right now. We know the LG is waiting on the outskirts of Devastated Coast here before trying to fully engage. A Beast of the High has been activated.
Nice methodical play here by Boogie Boarders. Barrel goes in, ult goes next, just slowly trying to take space away from the team ahead of them here, but Lufka gets the better of them to start with.
Omit with Lufka getting that first knock here is huge as Raki backs away in time.
Oh no, looks like they're giving him up.
This is Omit, this squad. We highlighted them in the pre-show for all the right reasons, but now Boogie Boarders have given up this high ground for free to Omit after they were able to get that first knock.
Yeah, I mean, the bigger issue though is they had to leave behind Posse. How are they going to go back there, grab the banner, get a third? It seems pretty hard to ask for at this point. And of course they are sticking to that tried and true composition, which means no support, no banner replication. A lot harder to get the third back in and back involved. And you can see Amit actually have spread out over that bridge there, trying to fire some parting shots at Boogie Boarders and make sure there's no way they can come back to secure their teammate's banner.
Oh, Design setting up a portal. Design doing design things on the Wraith. Oh, the way they see there's a team in front of them, but they want to try to get involved in the squad fighting right alongside them, getting into a better position without turning their backs into a squad that can rotate from the Jurassic side.
I swear Design thinks he's playing Splinter Cell half the time with the way he like crouches around. So let's see if he's got any secret agent comms for us as we have a listen in with Disguised.
All good, whatever. I need my port back for next zone.
I'm gonna get a better red. Quick.
I have 2 bats. I'm gonna throw an extra one on.
I need a
Watch our west. Watch our west.
I need a
Make sure nobody walks up for free on our west. That's gonna be really bad.
Does anyone have a havoc?
No.
No. Well. Should I go preset barrels at the street spot? No.
No.
I just got a fire. Yeah. Are we in anywhere? Where are we
Just keep holding our west. Keep holding our west, bro. Make sure nobody comes west, man.
I'm watching it.
Is it design? He had it.
I think I saw somebody fly this way. There's an extra blue. Here, Havoc, blue energy.
I need that. I'm dropping down. Not watching anymore.
Yep. Swap with them, enemy.
I can have this head.
I have 2 bats on me.
I have
Can you grab them? This is unlooted, bro. Nobody's landing here. They're fucking contesting or something.
Make it right here.
Getting a hint there of Disguise's thought process, as you know, we just talked about before. They really take their time getting into the circle. So you can see, even at this late point in the game, we're zone 3 and they're still shuffling weapons and you know, thinking about their meds. Most other teams are so locked in at this point to where they're playing in the zone and how this is going to continue. That said, Disguise will come back in on the hill and have an okay position as we look at the teams who are already in the thick of it, like Na'Vi.
And Omid have finally cleaned up the rest of Boogie Borders here too, so they're out for blood as Na'Vi on the high ground trying to go on top of BR Demons. Take one of these with the Nox grenade though, sandwich them as they try to climb up. I mean, that was absolutely free for them here. Kind of just take a good amount of damage before dropping down. Arc started to build up some space here too, but they clean up the BR Demons as another squad looking to get involved before Na'Vi could restabilize.
That was an incredible Nox nade there by Kinda. You saw it forced them to do the walk up as they tried to mantle. You know, they were taking 100, 150 damage each. That was the easiest fight win from a single ultimate I've pretty much ever seen.
And pretty safe, since they were on the outskirts close to the edge of the circle right here. The team that was looking at them, trying to send everything out on top of them was Wonton Dumpling, whereas Omid on the other side, meeting up with TYK.
Yeah, TYK, they've just, I think they've just taken an evac tower in here, and Omid were not ready for it at all. You can see they were not worried about that angle. Landing on top of the rock, see you later, blast, I doubt is going to survive this.
And that's with the circle closing in right behind him. What timing on that evac tower to get on top of the high ground. TYK capitalizing.
Oh yeah.
On the Omid, not expecting the spot to last minute rotate in that direction. Now they have the slight high ground. They're inside that next circle for right now until the next minute and less than 25 seconds. And the action has not stopped here for Disguise. They are still on the pylon.
Oh, here we go. Timmy's team's fighting.
And they've gone back to
design!
Oxygen! And the crowd is getting behind them. Good win for Disguise. This is great. As you can see, they're happy, they're now on red armors, and they've got a decent walk-in. They've got a minute as well. That's important. Not only do they pick up the wingman, but they can get around this mountain and into the circle, hopefully in time.
And with an evac tower, it looks like in Design's inventory here, huge here for Disguise if they do not want to rotate, but it could be a Hail Mary if they do decide to fly in. We're going to see how that works out for Disguise as Tom Young-kun. Less than a minute now left on the clock before they decide where they want to move. But they're a little bit out in the open where there's 3 other teams looking at them in their direction.
Dexter, this man has been on the TYK roster or iterations of it for the longest time. Several years now, he has been holding it down as one of the best representatives of both Thailand and APAC South. We're hoping he can make it a little bit further here after a shaky start to the tournament.
Did they put that evac just to wrap around here to make it seem like they are not rotating from this side? Finding this team distracted in a fight here. Here comes the wingman, but misses out on some crucial shots. We know Design could hit those, but this is where it matters. Timmy now moving in with the Hemi. Trying to take a different position, but they've given away that third-party surprise that they could have moved in on the other side between Na'Vi and Wonton Dumpling.
Yeah, they're definitely the 2 names we're worried about here. Design going for the portal. Ooh, is this too early is my question, though. The wingman shots start hitting onto Wonton Dumpling. Na'Vi have lost one as well. All of a sudden, Disguise can start pushing forward, bullying with these red armors. They want to get the finishes, consolidate, take this ground, and then walk it in. You can see 20 seconds for the round to close, but they've still got ground they need to make up.
You know, they ran so fast when they saw that Disguise have full red right here too. Huge free space for Disguise. I mean, free real estate here in this economy. We'll absolutely take it on this high ground. Sentinel shot, it's not charged this time, but hits that 70. Heroes also on blue, dropping down. They get eliminated, sent back to the lobby. 12 squads left as Kinotrope are going to be able to take this low ground rotate.
Kinotrope from Launchpad, fantastic priority into this zone. We know that playing the back end close to the C here of Echo HQ is a very powerful spot. So Kinotrope at the moment sitting on the 5 points. They need to try and convert this. The game has given them a good hand to play here, but they need to make decisions that lead them all the way to the end game.
And do you know who has the priority on this next circle, Genome? It is Geared Gaming, the team who would change their POI to land exactly here. Huge. This is what we were expecting from Navi originally, but instead it was Geared that landed in this coastal camp side. So now with more of these squads trying to navigate away, Patch and UA lose out on Sanya. Artico is going to meet him right back down on the floor. It's only up to Max Strafing here. LG are blowing up the feed right now. So much fighting on each angle of this circle as Patch and UA get eliminated. Still, LG are popping off. C9 sending everything that they have in the arsenal. The Nox grenade, the arc star, all the nades that they can.
We keep talking about how many caustics there are in this lobby, and you can see as soon as you put yourself in a corner and you don't spread out and take space.
Everything's going chaotic. Holy shit.
As soon as they close the gap, all of a sudden they will just dump that Nox grenade on top of your head, and you can see how detrimental that is.
Oh, jumping in, easy pickings here for C9, waking up. Kinotrope.
Oh my god, that's C9 from the start of the game. They've actually survived that long. I am very surprised.
And that was with them, by the way, getting the res that we saw earlier. Now it's Saucer who's down. Chaotic is going to go down once again. It's only up to Naughty. But
7
points
points.
Right there.
7 points from that position. I would take that any day. Well done to C9.
Great start for them, but no shield bats, only 4 shield cells. Working up the sticks here while Design is playing off the low ground. The rest of Disguise in a great position. Split positioning because Design can just queue away here, gets the crack, tries to get even more KP. 6 total KP for this team. And Design, he was writing it in the total lobby chat. He said, I believe that we will win. But can they, as Gear Gaming, have the overhead? WMNDY get eliminated. Northampton get taken out next.
And Timmy with the cleanup. I mean, that's what they do so well. Design pokes in, gets the information, and Timmy, the big hitter, will come in. He lines him up. Timmy knocks him down.
3 squads left with Gear Gaming having the height, having the best position, while Kinotrope I believe got the res, by the way. You can see on the other side, uninterrupted, as, of course, Gear Gaming aren't going to give up this positioning.
I mean, they've barely given up a single opportunity they've had so far. 12 kills for Geared Gaming. That's a phenomenal start. As you say, they've got the high ground. Kinotrope have been playing the back wall. That's, by the looks of this zone, they can actually start to move back, start setting up the barrels in surprise locations, so the other teams will have trouble moving beyond these rocks. Kinotrope, they might not have the high ground for now, Vicky, but I do believe they have the best position in this last zone.
With the scanning geared, already knowing that there's a team right below them, they get scanned right back. Disguised, looking to see if they could rotate right around, as Kinotrope is the only other team on the low ground alongside them. Nice little try there, trying to yeet the caustic barrel over the fence. Maybe if he gets on top of that mountain, trying to find a lip and a cheeky angle, but Disguise having to be careful because they could get sandwiched in both these teams.
I guess you should have picked the other perk if you wanted the long arm for the barrels, but okay. Zone starts to close now. Who gets pushed off first? Looks like Disguise is waiting around to Geared Gaming's left. Geared very much focused on Kinotrope here. Is there a way that Disguise can force these two teams into each other?
No
they actually
way.
go for the crazy portal?
Oh, they call out one tapping. Who was alone? Now Disguise know that Geared have the best high ground, maybe trending for second at this point with Kinotrope only have a solo left. Disguise was out on Design in the process. Geared jumped down, trying to capitalize. Archer on the other side, but they're playing beautifully around this mountain. While one member from Kinotrope hole on the back end. Disguise go down in third, and Geared Gaming looking to see what they can do. But Kinotrope are still alive.
Is there anything they can do to win this one out? For Rufo, he's got to be so angry that they did the portal onto him, but he actually clutches it up! That was incredible! The fact that he managed to escape all of that aggression from DSG, scoot around the side, and then come back for the win.
What a pop-off! What a decision! 4-4 Rufa! The fact that he got away in time!
Jesus, they are so extra. They about to knock this man out.
Reposition behind Gear Gaming!
Almost
MVP
tackle
here
him.
for Kino Trope. I mean, you highlighted this team. This was a team that you wanted to win this group stage, Gino.
Oh yeah.
You and Zephyr calling it out.
Yeah, we're chalking that one up. That was, I mean, I was ready for the salt from Kino Trope, right? Because, as I said, I thought they had the best position, but that doesn't mean it's the wrong play, right? I also think it was the right play for Disguise to portal in and essentially play for second, right? Get in there quick, try and do the damage to Kino Trope, and then just let Geared run you over. You know, that's just how it happens sometime. The Kino Trope fans, of course, we're going to be very happy that Arufa managed to get out there up the top. And then, yeah, that clutch was incredible.
Love the banners for support from Kino Trope too. Gotta get that persona activated here. Looking good, Joker. As we get set up here, looking at the match results. Insane finish here, but they finished not only with the dub, with the 9 KP that we saw before. Looking absolutely happy. I believe they also land a launch pad, so they were able to get to that rotate pretty quickly, but we saw the chaos from the squads on that rotate from those teams that were trying to force their way in, whether it be from an evac tower or even LG that went ahead and tried to rotate quickly. Kino Trope, 9 KP, but Geared Gaming, second place with 14 KP. In third place, Disguise is gonna come right behind him with 12 KP. Double-digit KP is always what I love to see in my first game, Gino.
I mean, I'm struggling to split who I should give the you know, the roses to out of these top 3 teams, honestly, Vicky, because Kino Trope played it so smart, had the clutch in the end. Geared Gaming, they really valued that high ground and just pumped it for the kill points. And then Disguise, they had such a tough run through to actually find their way into that end zone. They had to fight team after team, so many. You know, you're not calling them 50-50s, it's not off drop, right? But, you know, so many 3v3s in a row that they had to fight to get into that last spot.
Happily able to mow down the lobby if they have to. Coming out of Pylon side as we take a look at the second page to see the squads that didn't perform too high. I did see LG, by the way, with the 6 KP finding themselves in 7, so that's also another big one. Looking over here, though, Na'Vi, the team that we were originally expecting going for the 50-50 over by Postal Camp, ended up changing their POI into Mill, finding themselves with 3 KP and an 11th place.
Boogie Borders with an unfortunate 0 there as well. Of course, we saw them lose the fight to Omid, who only walked away with, I think it was the 3 or 4 points there in the end. So they've certainly got some work to do. I mean, this is it, Vicky. Do or die. You need to be in the top 10 in this bracket stage.
Game 1 already making a statement, everyone. When we come back after this break, we got game number 2 on Storm Point, and you don't want to miss it.
Every road is the same.
Oh man, not bad. It was a good first game.
Tiny push. Suddenly they all fall apart.
New season of Apex this Tuesday. Shit about to be going crazy. I'm gonna have to hop on and play.
This world is so fragile.
Nah, this new legend is broken.
They've locked the door.
The maneuvers you can do with her, the pushing, is gonna be game changer.
I'm gonna take this. You're clearly done using it.
He's definitely gonna get a nerf.
This cat and mouse game is getting boring.
Look at that.
Time to end it. How tragic. I've ended worlds. What is one measly legend?
Oh, and we have solos? Oh. This is what everyone's been waiting for.
Not done yet, Dad. This bird's got fangs. Took down some prey. Oh, hi again. Ready for the big finale? This place is kinda nice. Might stick around for the fireworks. I just hope the end of this world is as fun as all the others.
Sheesh. That's absurd. That looks
Herman
good.
Miller, the official chair partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
That's about to be a banger.
Everyone wants to be a legend, truly. Welcome back, everyone, to the ALGS. We are in the elimination bracket, day 3, and Kino coming in with the clutch, taking the dub with 9 KP, but Geared Gaming showing up for South America. Huge double-digit game and second place.
Yeah, I mean, the thing you've got to understand is, right, you're in a 1v1. It means 6 points for your team. That's the difference between second and first, right? You got 3 placement points, plus you're not necessarily going to get the 3 kills if you don't get that finish. Now, I think Disguise might have got some of the knocks. But anyway, like the point stands, right? You get so many points out of winning that clutch. It's a 1v1, but it means so much more.
Something that was going through Disguise minds when they decided to
what
actually
is
take
that
into
outfit
consideration
she's
the gap that they
wearing?
were closing, moving in to try to find that one strike.
He looked
with
like a whole
Kino
disco
before
ball.
finding themselves below that rock. They knew that finding that trade with Gear Gaming being right there, they were going to get third party no matter what, but cleaning up the KP is what they need. We're moving back over to Storm Point for game number 2, where we saw the one soul 50-50 happen over by the south side of Storm Point.
Yeah, that was down at Coastal Camp. Echo HQ and Devastated Coast left alone. I imagine we're going to see it again, but something we have seen it land a little bit is that, you know, if something doesn't go their way, teams are like, hey, you know what, I'm just going to surprise drop on someone else, because why not, right? They're not going to be ready for it. They won't even know. We'll come at them. We'll have a better comp. It's easier to take it that way, but how many times has that worked out? Well, not always.
All right, here we go. Game 2.
The legend selects.
Let's see who's gonna get this one.
Love what we saw in that final game, or rather that last game. Saw the Soul Gibby, the Valkyries coming out to play, the Crypto, the Watson. Let's get started. Very similar dropship pattern, not as much in the middle actually, going in from the east to the west.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where this circle ends up as well. We've had certainly a few down the south here in respect to Storm Point so far, and that's why I think teams like, you know, Kiana Trope have been doing well from Launchpad. Wanton Dumpling, however, you know, they're playing Pylon and not getting so much of it, so maybe there's something they need to work on here. Let's see if Gear Gaming can start this off with yet another 3 points, 3 KP
Now
as they take on Never to Change.
The thing that we saw, Genome, from the very beginning of this fight in the previous game was that Gear Gaming had much better weapon comps to work around with, because in that sniper tower, oh, nice start here with the Senti hitting 126, but it's about being able to have that weapon comp to take these close range fights, whereas in the sniper tower, you mostly have those long range weapons to work with here as Gear Gaming get into position.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Sentinel's one of the most picked weapons in these initial fights, just because it has such a huge amount of, you know, burst damage.
Nice placement on the Arc Star just to buy in a little bit of time because Gear Gaming got the triple crack as they're forced inside the house to try to restabilize, but they do not want to take their time of preventing them from getting that reset here.
I think it's just stupid having to fight this early.
Off to the side and an off angle, but with the cat, they could also reinforce those doors.
Like, Gear
here.
Gaming
Reina
is just
has
the better
reset
team.
Here too, literally one. As Zilch is also going to be taken out. Gear Gaming now down a man in the 2v, but they get the trade-off. NTC,
And again,
with only a
they
solo
won.
left, get eliminated. Another
This
win
is
on this contest.
a dumb
from
battle
Gear.
from the other team.
Interesting. So joining MDY White. No, actually they've changed. So MDY White have gone back to Caustic, and Never to Change have picked up the Catalyst mantle there. And I get the thought, right? The contest there on Coastal Camp is so centered around that top building that if you can reinforce those doors, use the piercing spikes to really block some lanes off there. It's it's just so building focused. It does make sense to pick up a character who can control that space.
Pretty good point too. As we go on with some of these maps, maybe some changes happening as How in some trouble playing off the low ground of the bridge, but also having those white Evo shields and losing out on the Valkyrie. The last thing that you want when you want to rely on that Valk for some of these rotations. Better for Heroes now to profit off of this after rotating from the launch pad side, and even better, having the information on where that beacon's going. You can expect more of these teams to contest when the Evo Harvester is right there by that choke, and they're lying in wait to see. They can either bait that or maybe expect another team to move in.
Yeah, and this is one of the interesting decisions. I was having a little bit of a chat with old mate Hodzik in the green room about this before. It's like, okay, if you start very close to where the zone is going to end, you've got the ring console, you are aware of this fact, but then you've got Evo Harvesters scattered around. You know, how do you balance getting that position that you're sort of entitled to, I'm doing air quotes here, in the priority, versus going for those Evo Harvesters, which is going to be so important because you're going to be sitting in one spot. It's going to be really hard to get that Evo up because you're not going past a lot of Evo Harvesters. You're not doing PvE. You're not hitting the assault bins. So it's it's a tough one to come up with. You have to be very fast and very decisive, perhaps even doing it riskily by sending members in different directions to go for those early objectives.
The risk that you're willing to take so that way you're not in the same position to house in. At least they were able to get that res and still full white, while WMNDY taking shots with the Hemlock after popping the Beast of the Hunt. Looks like they were able to get out of his line of sight for now, but consider it safe. They could reset, but at what cost when you're lacking in this ammo?
Yeah. 3 clips in reserve. Don't love that for Hal. Don't love triple whites. Kind of what we were talking about, right? They've made this decision to get in there and bunker up really fast, but damn, if someone comes at you with blue armors, with purple armors, how do you possibly push them off? You peek out, they headshot you with a Senti like we saw in that initial contest, and you're almost done.
Especially on the head right there. Imagine how crazy it'd be if Crypto would be able to use his drone to pick up an Evo Harvester for your team.
I thought you were about to bring out the old, like, you know, we should give Crypto's drone the RE45.
Oh, no, that's
and just have him walking around spraying some hammer points.
For context here, for everyone to know, I've been pitching that Vantage should give Echo a gun.
Oh, it should be Echo, okay.
Echo needs a gun, just literally coming in like an attack helicopter. But all right, moving in onto Omit, a team that's also on their own journey with the double blue, a purple on top of that too. Seeing the team that's trying to pressure them out on the low ground, but they are on the Trident, so that way they can prioritize playing more so on the edge of this rotate. You see where they want to go next, but they look fantastic in terms of loot, so they can take their time, maybe try and see if they could go in for a cheeky third party.
Zone currently about half over pylon, half over the western side of launch pad, including the sort of tri-buildings to the northwest of it. So team splitting between the two. Not clear to me yet which one of those ways it is going to pull. And certainly the team's setting up in a fashion that seems to back that up.
These buildings always stress me out. Yes, you can hide in the corners of the door, but once those doors are blasted open, I mean, that's why you have the Watson Gen right there to help prevent the harassment of those nades, while Geared looking like they're in some trouble. Navi now moving in. Yeah, the double trade now coming in this 2v2, but Geared looking to get the reset first.
Zilch on the door. Gonna pop the gravity lift as well. One of the best
Oh,
ways
could
to
this
keep
be
people out. Not
and
really
the Gear
what it was
Gaming?
initially intended for,
First
but
place
certainly
team?
a use that these pro players have found.
Could be the insurance policy that Gear needed to reset, because it's not just Navi on the other side. Boogie Borders, Riddle Order, as well as Wong Tongue Dumpling have made an appearance on the outskirts of the building.
Can be a little bit tricky holding these bottom stages of Pylon. There's so many doors, right? You can't reinforce all of them. You can't really even get fences across all of them. You don't even have enough players in your squad to watch all of them. So someone can slip in at any point and just take some pot shots at your team. It is a tenuous position to hold. The ring shifts. It's a big shift over to Launchpad.
I predict that this circle could probably be pulling towards where WMNDY are on the bridge, as we take a quick little pause here.
Oh, gives us some time to, yeah, just have a gander at that map and have a think about where everyone's going to go. I very much think it'll be pulling towards the Tri building, which is to the south of Launchpad, in between Devastated Coast.
I love their
Launchpad.
servers.
At the moment, it looks like that's occupied by WMNDY, our surprise package from day one. Our team
Apex
that
Legends
went
at its
missing on day
finest.
2, and as a result
Nothing
found
new.
themselves here in the elimination bracket. Just above them is Heroes, who are looking to pull up on it. So that could be a very important fight coming up very soon in what looks to be Godspot.
This little flyby of Luminosity while we get ready. Love the smiles from this team. It looks like the vibes are high, and which is fantastic. I mean, when you see the results of how your games have been going in the previous few days, making sure you have a clean slate, reset that mindset, making sure you come in clean, the vibes are high. Love the love from these players, making sure that the audience knows that they are listening, they are feeling your energy.
WM, of course, does stand for War Monster. That is from War Monster Firebird, who did lend one of the players over to WMMDY. Didn't get the best of it out of Pro League, but through the Chinese qualification spot, have made it through here to land. I believe it was Shark.
It's really nice to see the diversity of the teams that we've been having really come out on top. Of course, this is the elimination bracket right now. So stakes are not only very high, even if it's just the second game, but it's about keeping yourself separated from the rest. You can also imagine, I mean, the nerves and tension that some of these players are facing right now. Although some players can perform better on land, others feeling the nerves. Especially if you're inexperienced in a setting like this, the pressure's on.
Oh my god, that jacket.
It is so nice.
Damn, I thought we looked good, Vicky. This is the drip right here.
Oh, my man's dripping a
Give
little
shout
bit
out.
too
I mean,
hard
the
then.
Apex Legends community in general that I've seen here at this LAN, y'all know how to dress great. The drip is real here from the scene.
It's C9, right?
Yeah.
Damn, it's like, did they make that? It almost looks like, I mean, it's the same colors. It almost looks like it's, you know, like the C9 logo as well with the, what do you even call that? Like
the swirls, I guess, the ropes.
The triple infinity. It's like,
Oh, yeah. C9 looks. And as we do get set up here, looks like Omit just trying to figure things out from their side. Good little call out before we start any engagement in these later games. We got a little sneak peek of that circle there to Genome as we take a look at the current series standings and where our teams may be wanting to play.
yeah, so of course it's a 6-game series. For a 6-game series, you want to get in the top 10. You're looking at usually something around maybe 30, 35 points. Geared Gaming and Kinotrope obviously charging towards that after their epic first games, and Geared, you know, continuing to pick up points with the contest that they're winning as well. I mean, God, if you have the circle pull on top of you, it's just nuts, right? You get like a straight up 3KP to start with, and then you play it out almost as a normal game from there. It can be incredibly beneficial to your score line. Disguise as well, picking up the 19. So certainly some of the predictions that the talent had doing well to start with. The rest of the lobby sort of, you know, still kind of waiting to go, right? Those top three have certainly gotten away from the rest of the pack.
Getting word that a player is now reconnecting before we get started with the game, everyone. Thank you so much for your patience. Our player is taking just a little moment to breathe right now. All the smiles that we're seeing here too. Everyone is so ready, keeping the vibes alive.
Love the DSG flag. Actually, the DSG merch in general, kind of fire. I saw, I think it was Tiff in the green room had the design quote on the back of his shirt, which, not gonna lie, kind of fire.
That flag is so funny. I'm so glad that they have it here in the merch booth. You guys definitely need to check it out. If you're here in LA, the teams having their own merch setups has been a fantastic opportunity to cop any other accessories that I may need for future broadcasting, you know?
Picked up an Alliance pin myself the other day, but, you know, no bias.
No bias, of course not. Not them trying to get us in here, but observers have got us inside this lobby. Oxygen with reads. Like he needs some meds out here. Start with some of these med kits. Love this, 19 squads left. Diving right into the action with Na'Vi right behind them.
Odin's Glare, tactical cooldown there, picking up both of the scan perks for Bloodhound. Does seem to be reasonably meta. See a couple of people opting for Taste of Blood though. Want that extra HP on knock. Nice respawn option coming in there as well.
Oh, for free? Not. All right. See how that plays out as Howard eliminated in your feeds. Hero's going to be able to benefit off of that after we saw them harass him earlier.
Yeah, oh wow, so they've actually chased WMNDY out of that position, and now Heroes have taken over the tri-building. This is, that's an interesting one. Oh, and they managed to get Bolin as well. That's so rough. NDY, I thought they were about to run it back and have a killer one from like they did in day one.
It was a good move here for Heroes, though, because on that bridge side, we've seen the circle pull directly towards that bridge, and if they're going to hold the high ground here, they can contest so many other squads that are going to be rotating from that north side.
Yeah, it kind of just depends on how much that circle pulls out, right? Like, it could stay in for zone 4 and 5, it could go out after zone 3. It's just, yeah, if you do manage to hold on to some of that high ground, incredibly good spot to play from, and that's sort of where Oxygen were looking at as they're actually evacing into that position now, while, as we see, still quite a few teams locked over down here at Pylon.
I mean, sure, the wealth of information. Pylon's got the ring console, the survey beacon. There's 3 other squads in the vicinity. I know there's like an Evil Harvester to the northeast side of Pylon, another one on the south side.
I mean, having a look at the map there, we've got Kenotrope just holding it down at launch pad. LG have just flown past them. So your BR Demons making their next move, and yeah, considering all these other teams are going to have to shuffle out and probably die en route, that is looking good for my boys in Apex South. Sorry, Apex North.
You know, the Apex South aficionado himself looking to see how these teams are doing.
I'm putting that on my LinkedIn.
You have to add it in as a title. It's like Heroes, maybe adding the fact that they just took care of Sweet, they get the knock on Slayer, and LG are in trouble. Trying to look to be the Slayers themselves.
Not a lot of cover, you can see. A couple of scant boxes there for Oxygen to play behind, but they do have the zone on their side.
LG get eliminated. Kenotrope gonna clean up that last straggler from Funk. While BR Demons looking at Oxygen after coming out of that evac tower, finding some free space here, and already knowing where that next circle is. As you could see in the mini-map, they already got that scan earlier.
Yeah, and I get why we're focusing on this fight. It's an important one. Whoever wins this essentially walks up that hill behind Oxygen and then just has a killer spot coming into our 4th zone. As you can see here, it's pulls. Let's see. Okay, yes, it does go directly on top of that house where Heroes is, directly on top of the bridge. So yeah, we were talking, right? Does that stay in? Does that not? The bridge is going to be an awesome staging ground where you essentially, I mean, God, if you've got some marksman weapons up there and a bit of ammo to sit on, you will be firing for days and stealing kills from other teams who are rotating in. Everyone who's picked Pylon very much is going to be unhappy about what happens in this next minute or so.
Oh no! We see the res come out from NDY, and in the middle of Kinotrope taking what looked to be an evac tower, maybe a Valkyrie skyward dive, through the distance from Launchpad, have now landed to try to clean up that free KP. Have to see how that plays out as Disguise, a team that has no issue taking their time rotating into the circle like we saw before. All right, I would not trust them with my life when it comes to driving around that Trident, but it's okay. They are going to be able to drive around the mountain for now, making a little bit of noise before they take an evac tower and reach behind BR Demons.
All these teams in Pylon just trying to work out how they make it.
And
through.
here
4 or
comes
5 of
Timmy's
them.
team.
Gonna have a tough time. Oh, okay. DSG's actually dropped in. Didn't decide to take the Trident in the end, and all of a sudden, Oxygen.
Oh, but they have to move. They're not in a good spot.
Now just wave their hands
5 seconds.
here.
I don't think they get out of
I'm
here.
worried about the timing on
Too
this
many
rotate.
teams
That's
in
why
front of
you
them.
see the evac tower getting called in from Disguise
Ain't no
because
way.
the circle's closing in right
That's
behind
They
them.
had to drop
ballsy.
off, though. I think it was getting slammed by the other two teams. They know that they can't let them get above them, or it'll be at the end of
I
this
think it's
game.
over for them.
They're forced to
There's
fight
no way
here.
they win
have
this.
to fight their way into that next circle. The portal is being put down by Design. Working to put the rest of this team into some cover, but in the
It's
pinch
not far
between both of these squads, it's unfortunate here, but Timmy loses out on his shield. They have to forcibly fight this.
Enemy is trying.
I mean, BR Demons are
Oh
in
my
just
gosh.
absolutely atrocious
What?
spot, getting sandwiched here, and now that
There's
they're done,
no
Oxygen are
way.
basically back to the start, except we've replaced
That
BR
was
Demons
impressive.
with Disguise. They're going to try and come through here. You see the Into the Void. Where is it going to end up?
Design has to make a play here. Oxygen feeling uneasy, finding Design literally one shot. They get that free knock here, and they're going to be able to back away while knowing that at the moment, Disguise have nowhere to go.
Love that for them. They wait as long as they possibly can. They know Disguise are going to have to take a gross amount of zone damage here, trying to get back into the circle.
Fighting for their lives. Another fight commences on the choke.
Does he get back
exiting
into the
out of
circle
Pylon.
before he
Long-Tongue
dies?
Dumpling now trying to take control over this high ground versus Boogie Borders.
He's still alive.
See more
Don't
of the
see him
fight
on the
happening
feed
with
yet.
Reception. Boogie Borders here on the other side.
That's
Rocky following
crazy.
low.
Timmy's team
Reception
lived.
looking Great. No EMP ready, and they are getting beamed from the other side.
This is all happening over towards Pylon. Wonton Dumpling are looking at them, licking their lips up on top of the hill. Boogie Borders.
And goodbye to the
can't do
Boogie
it. They end
Borders.
up with 2 points.
Boogie the way back to the
Decided
lobby.
to maybe 3, and Geared Gaming are going to keep pushing on. 29 points for them. Wonton Dumpling now decide they can push down. It's only a duo. Surely they finish this one off and then just waltz straight in under the building where Heroes is still holding.
Tavi's having his own Craver montage somewhere in the feed. Ooh, huge sky nade. Forcing panic up the low ground and now having to
Oh,
shield swap
C9's
as well.
going crazy now.
Taking a good amount of damage as they now rotate onto the high ground, forcing Gear Gaming as a duo to run for their life. Design! Disguised! They are still alive on the lift! Oxygen known as
they're
Design. He tries to make a play. Gets immediately taken down.
They waited all this time for another portal to come back up. I guess they could because they found this little pocket here still in the zone. It was
It's
the only
over.
play, but Oxygen, patient. They waited for them. Wait on the other side of the portal, and with round 4 closing, they're done.
All you can
for.
do is
I'm
just
calling
get
it
placement
now.
points.
One syringe in the portal available. They have to take it. Oxygen's waiting on the other side. Surprise with the Cosmic Barrels. Plays being made. They get the crack. They gotta follow up. Design.
No way.
In terms of his health. No way. Oxygen just give this up.
Oh.
The ring.
No,
takes care of
Timmy's
Timmy after
down.
Reach is able to do some
Storm.
damage.
Is they're on such low health. If Designful takes a single tick, caustic gas, it hits you in the health, not in the shield. They will drop immediately, and as you can see, Designful does
It's
drop
over for them.
with enemy slowly meeting the same fate, I would imagine, but they've taken reads with them. Oxygen, they're not going to be happy about this. It felt like they should have won that cleanly. I mean, the barrel in front of the portal was really smart. It pretty much had them done just to start with.
Where do you
Oh,
go? The
no.
runners
He didn't
no,
make it.
Ninja Ware as Disguise get eliminated by Kinotrope. The 3-man that have been able to reset on the high ground right now. Oxygen had no worries of a third party trying to contest them. That is why Disguise was in such a pinch on that rotate.
And finally, we get a view here of our final act. It will take place on the bridge above Devastated Coast. Kenotrope Gaming have been sitting here for quite some time as WMNDY, I think, managed to get their player back for the second time? They're a full 3 now. That's the only thing I can assume. Wonton Dumpling, I thought they'd be able to make a play, but they get taken down. Looks this time like it's Heroes. All 3 of them are alive. I believe they're just split between the building and the last little, you can see Bastion just hiding behind the finger of Launchpad there. The problem is, there's kind of a shooting gallery set up, and they're the targets.
All the benefit for teams like Heroes who land in these southern POIs. No surprise there when you win the 50-50 over by Devastated Coast, but they have been holding on that building since the very beginning. They kind of considered maybe going underneath the bridge, and that's going to be Oxygen territory for now. With Kenotrope being on the high ground and WMNDY alongside them. Heroes, a little bit of a split position though before that circle starts closing in right behind them. 4 squads left here for this second game.
Heroes the first to move, as we said. Everyone else very happy to just sit up the top there. Maybe they can set them to stop peeking with the Kraber. Lahim hits that first shot. It's important, but they still are taking damage from the right.
Helps with the win condition here. Yes, you didn't get the knock, you didn't get the headshot with that 140, but it's still forcing them to back away in time just to restabilize, so that way you have a little bit of time to try to see if you have space to close that distance where you have little to no cover. But Mia K is also waiting for them with the Nemesis ready. See the Nox nade just sent in their direction.
I think Oxygen managed to get their third back up. Oh no, sorry. Reeds is still down. Yeah, it's just Aiden and Vayne.
Kenotrope facing off the other team on the other side of the bridge, but they got full purple. WMNDY have full blues. The health disadvantage to start off this fight for the high ground.
High ground seems like a very important place for this fight. Yeah, Bolt just has to fall off. What other option does he have? Kenotrope, 2 in a row, Vicky?
There is no way here. There's a reason why you and the desk had this team in their sights. Talk about consistency. And they have the high ground literally in Godspot at the moment. And as that circle closes in the next 20 seconds, they're going to be able to see everybody below them.
Yeah, but they have to do the damage now because eventually they will be forced off. And at that point, everyone is on the same level, right? Everyone's got the same problem. So Kenotrope, they need to make the most of this while they can look down and choose the engagements. Lahim, 3 bullets left in the Kraber, 1 battery, 6 cells.
Oh. Takes the evac tower just to jump away, gain some momentum, nothing to see before he gets to the lip in the corner. A for effort from Heroes, but there is just too many open angles for Kenotrope to keep the pressure up. 1 red, double purple. They force everybody off before they eventually drop down. Give us all the KP here. Mia K though, slightly by himself. 1 shot taking some extra pressure as 1 tapping follows up.
Okay. So with the Bang ult there in reserve, nade still in the backpack. That was the last one. Forces them out into his crosshairs, but oh, surprise from behind, doesn't matter. NDY will go down, and it's just up to the duo of Oxygen. 2v2.
Some fries from the weapon coming in. 1 tappy. Still on the low ground, but they have an evac tower. They can try to at least jump off of it to get it to the high ground or force them into their line of sight.
A little bit too early though. You can see a couple of ticks coming through. Now they get into it. But even they had waited maybe just another few seconds.
Kenotrope versus Oxygen right now. We see the knock for Rupa does it again! Kenotrope with the back-to-back dubs on Storm Point.
Can't believe they did it again. They won back-to-back.
Oh, it's showtime for Kenotrope if we're going to keep going with the Persona references there, Vicky. That is a team up if I've ever seen one.
Our
They
center would be
came to
so
play.
proud right now. Kino Trope. Love the vibes. The pop-off moments. As they recap their experience going in through that second game. Remember, it was about the high ground position that they forced, what, 2 other teams originally from there. Heroes were trying to call that building that you pinpointed, Genome. And in the end, putting themselves in the open for other squads to just take some free shots at them. But 11 kills, 5.1k damage.
Yeah, it was a tricky circle, right? We called it right from the start. We said, hey, could be Pylon. It also might be over towards Launchpad, maybe even further down. So Kinotrip, they bided their time. Managed to take out LG from that position in Launchpad in the meantime. And then, as soon as they saw that reveal, they were like, bam, we're going to take over that high ground on the bridge. And that was enough to once again win them the game. Love the macro plays here coming out from Kinotrope. Sure, 2 circles in a row, very close, neighboring their POI. But you got to take those games when you get them, Vicky. 1 win in the first 2 days is now grown to 3 for Kinotrope in the first 2 games here of our elimination bracket.
Kind of nice when you land over by Launchpad and you get 2 Southern Zones out here as we take a look at the match results with 11 KP. Let's not forget, game 1, after they won, they got 9 KP, so putting those kills on the board, securing 23 total points, Oxygen coming in second, even Wongtong Dumpling popping off over by Pylon with the 9 KP.
Good to see them getting involved.
Damn.
Of course, they were
23
the number
points.
1
Huh.
seed coming out of APAC South, and it did kind of feel like it in the first 2 days. Maybe
Wow,
some LG
LG
to start off with
18.
here. Navi
They got no points,
picking
nothing.
up 7 will move them up the standings a little
Jeez,
bit.
come on. Let's go, Sweet.
That was
Sweet about to
also
pop
very
off next
rotating
game.
from Mill here too, as we take a look at the series results and where have these teams shifted, because that is 2 games down already. Kinotrope.
Damn, they already got
lead the pack with
44.
44
It's only
total
2 games
points.
in.
Here gaming right behind them with that explosive first game that we saw before here too. Also winning that 50-50 that we see in game 2 as well.
This
30
guy's
points.
3.
This
Let's
guy's
go,
in that top
Timmy.
3.
Right, so where does your mindset go from here? Kinotrope, they're most likely qualified already, right? They're probably through to the top 10. As we said, 30 to 35 points will most likely get you through. Do you want to, I don't know, try and break records like a 0 and a dark 0 yesterday? Or does your mind go to, hey, let's secure a drop spot? We don't like where boogie boarders land next to us. I think I might just drop on them for the next 4 games.
That's what I love about the Elam bracket, Genome. I love it when Apex gets, like all of our games, as chaotic as possible.
Oh, it's brutal.
Especially when these teams try to find the opportunity to grief others if they are on that cusp. But finding where our squads are after these 2 games alone has been fantastic. The consistency is there, but as well as those circles, I mean, when you have these southern zones, what else can you expect from a squad that prioritizes that rotate?
Yeah, it's definitely been dropped in the lap of Kinotrope, but you know, those kills didn't just come to them by osmosis, Vicky. They had to pull the trigger for those ones, and they've done it at the right time all the way throughout game 1 and 2.
Even looking at teams that were struggling a little bit on that rotate to Skies, that was such a tough pinch to be in, but what can you expect when there's little to no cover when you do wrap around that rock? And they didn't go the distance because they wanted to capitalize on the opportunity. We saw what they did to BR Demons.
I mean, the other thing to think about there is, like, I think they had 2 evac towers, 2 portals, and that still wasn't enough to rotate them into the zone. I mean, you can't actually give yourself many more opportunities to make it in there. It's just, as we highlighted, Disguise have been taking their sweet time getting into the zone, and sometimes when someone out there like Oxygen who knows how to play that, who knows how to just cut them off completely, yeah, it's not going to be enough for you to make it into Zone 5.
You know what that makes me think about, Genome? It makes me think about what impact the Legend Alter can do on rotates like that. Putting in that tactical through the mountain could open up a world of possibilities when you're stuck in a pinch there too. It's going to be fantastic. But you know, as we talk about Alter, why don't we take a look at the Season 21 trailer?
This world is so fragile. Wants to start throwing stones.
LA, what up? I am here with the one, the only Vicky. Vicky, how is it being in LA and you are representing the entire world of Apex for the Hispanic community?
It's always a pleasure. I love this game. I love this community. I love being in LA. I feel like it's always awesome to talk and get to know the Hispanic community. They've been supporting me, and they also love this game. And there's no feeling as great as knowing that there's such an awesome team representing Latin America and especially Mexico. So that's why I'm super proud of the boys. And yeah, here.
Absolutely. So we're talking about the fellas. They just got signed to Team Liquid. They were doing pretty good as well. How does it feel that the only team in the world on the global stage representing Mexico, they are three of the best in the world?
They are. I remember when Janja was first kind of on the rise, a lot of people thought he was a hacker. They thought he was cheating. And he was just that good. And we were like, no, he's perfect mechanically, and he's also like really great with game sense. And I feel like with Jaguares and Azul, they are really good friends, and they've been together for a while now. So you can feel the vibes, and even if they don't do as well, they still have this really good like sense of humor, and they're like, it's okay, we go next. And I feel like we could feel that yesterday. They weren't doing that well at first, and we were very nervous. And then they won, and the vibes were back, and it's just awesome. I love them.
I mean, like I said, three of the best in the world. To pivot a little bit, Season 21 is right around the corner. What are you looking forward to?
Oh man, I'm so excited. I was watching the trailer yesterday with my community, and they were like, whoa, that looks so good. Like the new legend, her abilities, I cannot wait to try her out. And I feel like everybody's most excited for solos. I never played solos in Apex, so I'm super excited. I'm super hyped. And I feel like this is the time for everyone who hates on the randoms and that says, I just don't cannot
she's
rank
speaking
up
facts.
because of my randoms. Now is
Solos,
your time to shine,
it's gonna
right?
be
If you're
lit.
so good, prove it.
I think the player count will go up a
Speaking
lot
of
higher
solos, we
than
have
it
the
is
solo
now.
showdown tomorrow. Do you happen to be playing in that?
I was gonna play in that, but in the end I said, wait, I'm in LA, I love being here, I live in Mexico, so I kind of wanted to hang around the city and stuff, but I'm gonna be watching. Like, I'm definitely gonna be watching that because a lot of my friends are gonna play in that, and I know that a lot of the people playing are from the community, so good luck to all of them, and I hope everybody has a great time. Playing on a stage is like nerve-wracking, but people love this game, so have fun and do your best.
It's going to be a blast, but really quickly, last question. What is next for Vicky?
Well, I love this game. I love doing these watch parties. I feel very privileged to be able to hang out here, like to do the official watch party. So if they keep liking to having me, I'm down. I love doing this. My community loves it. I started doing these watch parties in 2020 with 100 viewers. I was telling you about that. And I feel like esports is awesome. The community keeps growing. I really hope that the Hispanic community appreciates this game because of what it is. The teams, Liquid, all of the other teams as well. So hopefully this keeps happening as year goes by. And I'm gonna hang around.
I love it. Crowd, make some noise for Vicky. Vicky and Genome, to you.
Vicky's an Apex. What a better combo. I mean, shout out to Peeps and Vicky. And I love the points that she highlighted, because how dare there be slander for El Presidente Yanya himself, an absolute fragger and a demon. But it's also been really nice to see them really come up here. I mean, this is the team that I've been looking at for years. Always saw that talent and the potential that that team has had, even before their crazy success, before that we saw them on former Luminosity, of course, and now Liquid coming right back into the Apex Legends competitive scene.
Yeah, awesome to see them get picked up and, you know, really able to support themselves even better, because they have just been such a powerful force over the years. It's been, yeah, it's been awesome to see them come up from Mexico.
Yeah, it's been really nice. And you know what? Talking about those insane fraggers, they do manage to get that result on the roller. We're going to be talking about some awesome things as we see more of these players using these different peripherals. But Battle Beaver, guys, Big thanks to our sponsor, Battle Weaver, the official controller partner of the Apex Legends Global Series. Guys, make sure to swing by the Battle Weaver booth here at the event where you can pick up your own limited edition ALGS Split 1 custom controller available only this weekend. Battle Weaver is also offering quick repair services for competitors here at the venue. If your PS4 or PS5 controller is drifting, stop by and check out their drift calibration test.
Well, haven't tried it yet myself. Maybe one day. Maybe one day I'll do the Genome Learns Roller session.
Sorry, Gino.
I gotta rep the M&K for now, though.
Look, you're not gonna win the solos. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Anyways.
Oh yeah, we'll see.
You know what's even great here too, and like complete context aside, I actually have been getting controllers from Battle Weaver for a very long time, competing in the Smash scene previously, and having their amazing controllers has really helped out. Feeling comfortable on my wrist.
Well, maybe when I finally jump in, it will be with them.
Yeah, it's really nice here, and it's also nice to see Kino Tropes.
Alright, are we going to get like a new winner? We can't have the same team one again. They can't go back to back to back.
As match number 3 is coming up soon here on Storm Point.
2 out of 2s, not a bad result, not a bad track record here for Kino Trope. I mean, yeah, look, I have to say, I predicted it right, and the reason I did predict it is because they're so good at getting into that final zone, right? I mean, the consistency with which they are finding themselves in the final circles is awesome, and they are pulling their weight against the other teams who've got here in Elimination Bracket 1. So I continue, I think it's going to continue. Will they win the next 4 games? All right, probably not. But, 2, as we said, is enough for right now. I want to see how they continue to evolve their play in this bracket stage.
Interesting when you talk about, and what we're seeing right now from Kino Trope, we're seeing the success on Storm Point, but can it reciprocate on World's Edge?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to have a completely different drop spot, a completely different, completely different everything when you switch it over there. Having a look, they drop at Climatizer, and that's a little bit different, right? I mean, that said, we've had a lot of North zones in World's Edge, so, maybe they pick the right sides of the maps as far as that goes, but if they have to play a little more Edge play style, which Climatizer has historically been that sort of POI, could be a little tougher for them on our OG comp map.
Gotta see how it works out here first for Storm Point, but the 50-50s, here Gaming have so much advantage, yeah.
I mean, yeah, like we've seen teams, they try and take this the sniper tower and get up there straight away.
Oh no.
Not to change, haven't even got in this POI, do not have weapons when the shots are already coming out from Geared.
Those actually managing to get away, Horizon things with the gravity lift, but sweating just a little bit. He was isolated, but thankfully his team gave him the suppress fire that he needed.
We're about to have another fight in the beginning. There's no way they lose 3 times in a row.
I himself on top of the high ground of this building.
No Weird Gear Gaming just beat them 3 times. Come on. See something different.
A little bit more with that initial advantage there from Geared Gaming. 17 shots on a PK. We've seen that is more than enough to win a contest here at LAN.
Oh, but so does that charged up Sentinel. Saw that huge shot hit Panic, which is also going to delay this fight here too if they have the small meds, forcing Zerg to actually move back.
Well, it's a crazy risk to take, right? I mean, you start with 2 cells. It takes 2 cells to charge the Sentinel up. That means, you miss that. You've got nothing left in the backpack.
Really good point. What I don't like though is how long this fight is taking. You see the charge of Sentinel right there.
Yeah, I mean, no one's been pulling up to 3rd this though, so maybe they're not too fussed about that. NDY sticking around Echo HQ, Wonton Dumpling, not making their way in from Pylon.
Another one.
Oh, we might see a new winner in this fight. No way.
Oh, he's feeling himself, trying to slide in there with the hipfire charge. Sentinel shot, still was able to get the crack, never to change though. What?
No way, they lost 3 times in a row.
The automatic turnarounds. Look at the pop-up, look at the player cams. Maybe growing a little bit of gray hair there, but that was interesting. I mean, them trying to surround the building like
Oh
that,
my
just giving
gosh,
free
Gear
rotated
Gaming
to
just
press
keeps
them
on
up each side of the
beating them
Well, it was
over
basically, it was a
and
straight
over.
2v3, right? I mean, the other Geared Gaming player
Never
had
to
gone
change
down
should not be
very early on in
ALGS.
that fight. And somehow they still give it up. I mean, they were trying the Catalyst again. We talked about how, you know, they were going to try and play around that building. At least that was in my mind, the game plan. But we didn't see the piercing spikes really come into effect too much there. And, you know, that's even when you've got so little ammo to start with. You've got to expend that, trying to, you know, do the 300 damage to the spikes. It's like, is that even worth it? All right, well, Geared Gaming, that's only going to push them further up. Sure, they're still lagging behind Kinotrope with the 2 dubs, but at 33 points now, they're looking pretty safe for Elimination Bracket Round 2 and getting another slot on the stage tonight.
See, with this fight, we saw also the map. The Apex gods have heard our pleas. We are going over to the north side. Something that could benefit the likes of Disguise. Even C9 out here, as we see them right below Passion UA. They were able to get the crack on the Cossack, but they cannot give this space up. They're just going to keep suppressing them for right now before they get another scan going. Do you think Sonya's got enough shield cells?
You could always go more.
24? Nah, I don't think so. Saucerer now trying to see what's happening while taking the lip. A little cheeky head glitch that you could take here too.
It's got a case. It's got a full case.
Oof. We're able to get a little bit of damage knowing that they have blue Evo shields. Enough information for them to close in this gap. Chaotic and not able to on some shield. The Saucerer takes a much more aggressive position to get that crack.
Yeah, the headshots poking out there, very unfortunate for PUA.
Now, while this fight goes on long, unlike what we saw from the 50-50 from Gear Gaming, since this is where the circle's pulling, you could absolutely expect other squads to get involved. Well, LG getting some LP that they need, RP rather. See them going to be able to clean up that team. 18 squads left. Passion UA still not giving up this fight. But in the distance, you could expect Riddle Order, Boogie Borders, BR Demons, Northeption. So many squads now making an appearance.
Well, this is a fun one. We don't see a lot of checkpoint zones, right? It's been essentially the zone almost couldn't end here in previous seasons, but of late, Vicky, they've taken a lot of those roadblocks out of the map, and we've had some fun endings. Oh no, Geared Gaming actually going down to Wonton. So we said, you know, they weren't pulling up on them early, but they pulled up on them late. You know, I think Wonton might have just been going down to get some of the scans, because we've got two of the, you know, the ring consoles and the survey beacon available down at Coastal Camp, and just taking the RP with it. KP with it, I should say. Not in ranked here, guys. A little bit higher stakes than that. But yeah, as I was saying, checkpoint, it's going to be so fun to see this play out, just because the players actually have not had that much practice at working these zones out.
That's my fault, Gino. I had to mention that because I got rent on my mind when it comes to seeing this insane plays. Maybe writing down some ideas out here. As LG, knowing that the team behind them taking some shots at them, opt to go through that rotate that could meet them by the armory unless they want to wrap back around that mountain to get through that next choke. But the team that was taking shots at them was Disguised. Now you can see them on their rotate before cleaning up some loot that they may need. Na'Vi gonna get information on the circle here as they take their time to rotate from down beast.
Yeah, so Disguised, they don't take their option to get into the zone there. You know, they land at North Pad, right? They could have gone straight through, but once again, taking their sweet, sweet time. And it's, I mean, look, they've got enemy on the core stick, right? Just checking. Yes, they did have the ring console available as well. So they could have seen this coming. I mean, they did see this coming, and they've decided deliberately to take zone damage right now instead of finding their way further into checkpoint. The zone pulls on top of it. It definitely will be a checkpoint zone.
Oh no! Who are you holding that door for? You gotta look to your back because Keith God getting that knock and that finish for free. They do lose out on Bobo here. Peacock coming in on the other side. Huge beams with the Havoc and Turbocharger. Wonton Dumpling have not put in the brakes. Huge shots with the PK before finishing.
Finally, the first place team is eliminated.
Of this elimination bracket 1 lobby.
Finally.
Finally. Everyone here in the crowd is seeing what we saw all split long in the APAC South Pro League. Wonton Dumpling They are a force to be reckoned with, and it's good to see that they've gone home after those first 2 days and said, hey guys, we better show up now. It's now or never today. And that's the kind of play that we get out of Pete God or Gugu on the roller. Very rare to see those players in China, and he's just been a phenomenal
Let's go,
force.
LG. Come on now.
Huge deal there too. They knew that they were going to rotate in
Let
that
me
direction.
see Sweet
LG
succeed.
now trying to engage on this fight out in the open, but they got the rocks to their back. If they have to disengage, third party moves in. LG looking to close in the gap after
I
the
missed
beast
the
roar
NRG
has been
team, though.
activated from Funk. Evil Harvester over to the side so they can expect more squads to maybe rotate from this direction. But while they do try to take this fight over by Cito, they know that if they take it and win, they can go through the choke over on the other side.
Oh
But
man,
Funk
it's Audi.
finding that knock off the Nemesis. Oh, Shark is out of there.
He says,
He's
"Skrr."
managed to find the Trident and evade LG from now. But Wonton Dumpling, they're coming in from Jurassic. I think he knows it too. There's this look on his face that's it's like impending doom. That's what I'm seeing.
I don't know about that. I mean, I was gonna say that Trident's like a shiny beacon for a team that's coming out of Jurassic like that. They get the crack, but they don't get the finish.
I mean, the thing is, like, if you're by yourself, you don't have a full team, you kind of want, like, the Trident is almost damage reduction. Right. So you kind of hop into a sure, it's a big target, but then bam, boost away, actually gives yourself a chance there. So I like the play by Shark. He evades Wonton Dumpling as well. They are one of 5 teams, kind of outside checkpoint right now. You've got Oxygen, as you can see, on the other side of C2. They'll be running into vision of Wonton Dumpling very soon. And LG, they're trying to gatekeep over to the left of Cascade Falls. There's the tunnel that leads from those buildings into checkpoint, and that's what LG are going to try and hold off. Maybe Heroes, maybe Wonton Dumpling there as well, disguised. They do eventually make it into checkpoint, so this time I guess we can't be too mad at their tardiness.
Whereas Disguise out here, Design trying to make some moves as they try to avoid the Bangalore ult as well. You saw he was able to get right back to the rest of his team.
I
Oxygen
hope
on top
Design
of the high
wins.
ground
Come on now.
with WTD
Go back to
playing
them.
right below them.
We're about to fight.
We saw Wongton earlier before. He was playing out of his mind with Red Evils. They're looking to
Oh my
Oxygen.
gosh.
But Bane gets taken
That
out the train off
PK
here
hit.
though as Aiden finds another knock. Knock after knock though. Aiden gonna be able to get the shield swap after getting this knock here. The reset is available and Reeds now looking to see if they can find Bane. But this is huge here as Wongton Dumpling and trying to replicate the same.
Big Frag is going down first. Also, not a good sign here for Wonton Dumpling. Oxygen get off the res. Was it the same for WTD?
Oh, that was scary, but he has an oxygen grenade. He wants to make sure that they do not contest them by this door, but there's so much different openings with the other doors on the side. Which one do you try to suppress them here?
Yeah, and I like the that Reed held off there. He didn't blow his load too early there, which means he can keep that important ultimate for later on in this fight. If they get
Oh, what a
dove,
fight.
he can stave them off.
Anxiety, as we see Oxygen so low, but has a duo from Wonton Dumpling. Good luck with that, because look who's waiting for the opportunity to third party. LG has gotten an invite a little late here, but something that they can capitalize off of as Oxygen now have taken the high ground.
Okay, gravity cannon. Wonton Dumpling trying to get out. You see the second member also trying to join. All right, they actually make it.
And that was also the noise cue that LG needed to know that they're backing away.
Yeah, so his teammate pops the evac tower, but they don't quite get him. 40 seconds left as well. I think they're actually going to get time to get out. As a duo, sure, but they will remain. But you can see LG tracking them. Once again, going straight back into this gatekeeping position. They don't pick up the Eva 8?
That's
Or they're just
Sweet.
giving it to
Oh
Sweet?
no, wow.
Really?
Okay.
All right. They're real confident in that vault play.
All right, it looks like actually they're backing away in time though. Maybe they picked it up
Yeah.
for now. Talking about what weapon comps that they have in their rotate to see if we can give suppress fire.
I mean, when it came out initially in the care package, it was like, yeah, okay, maybe, maybe not. But after they buffed it, man, that thing
LG's
is a
stuck
machine
in the
gun
tunnel.
shotgun.
They
That is
can't
not
get
a
out.
shotgun.
Yeah,
That is
one team in their
actually
back
terrifying.
and a
Wonton
team in the
Dumpling managed
front.
to get the res. You saw Sweet in the,
Two
in the
teams in
actual
the
camera,
front.
like he was
They're not in a
confirming
good
that they were
position
definitely
at
gonna
all.
not only get the res, you could see it right there too when that res beacon is shining. And where other direction are you going to rotate to other than the direction of where LG's holding the edge of the circle?
Yeah, you're right. There's kind of nowhere to go. But look at that. They get the res. And they get the full reset. So now they pull up. Why don't we have a listen in with LG and see if they can hold off Wonton Dumplings?
Hound pushing in. 60. Shoot on this kid. One in. Run over. Running away. Left guys. Yeah, popping back. He's swinging it. He's sliding in. I shot him. 1 HP. Can't buy this one. I'm looking.
Oh my gosh.
Give me heals. Another team. Same thing. Do the same thing. Barrel. Yeah. One guy. Cracked him. 50 push. Here he goes. Sweet choke. Come back. Come on. It was just one guy. Coming back. Jump up, Duke, baby. Let's go. All right.
After taking care of Wonton Dumpling, they call out the solo
I love
that was
it.
right behind them. Even more KP falling onto LG's feet here, but this is the difficult rotate that I was worried about when they decided to fully commit over from this side of the circle.
There's no way. I don't see them getting out this one.
Interesting circle pull here. You get some vision of that. We'll go through who's looking good for this one. Obviously, a lot of people sitting up at the top of checkpoint, and then a couple of people down the buildings below as well.
That's what we need to listen to.
Actually reasonably placed here. You can see with all of the cover around them, they can kind of only take shots from left and right, but there are teams in both situations. So there we go, Sweet. Pops the bang-all just to get the bat resets, and then I'm expecting them to go out very soon to take advantage of this window that he's bought themselves with the Rolling Thunder.
How waiting with the blue Evos though. They do have that Nox nade as Sweet tries to close in the gap. Bang ult called in, forcing them to back away.
One of the few players that we've seen picking up digi weapons a lot this weekend. A lot of Mozam, a lot of RE45 with a hammer point. You know, obviously since Digi's got taken away from, you know, SMGs and only put onto the pistols and shotguns, we haven't seen as many teams running them, regardless of the fact that pretty much everyone's running Bang.
It's huge here for him to have that RE. That's why we saw them, you know, contemplating what they wanted to do with that care pack weapon. Passion UA have not left this spot, and they still have blue Evos, which is crazy because this circle, look at the minimap, is completely shifting away from them, and I believe there's 2 to 3 other teams within this checkpoint side.
Yeah, there's quite a few teams, as you can see here, all the way up in checkpoint. You've got Riddle Order sitting in Godspot in that building in the middle. LG pushing down the bottom. They've got How right on the back of them, and then you see all the teams streaming in at once. You've got no other option, Diggy.
It's a bird, it's a plane. No, it's just 4 squads coming to land on the other side of the circle. Everybody took to the skies at the same time. You see the pings coming up from LG as they're not only fighting for their life with this squad underneath this building, another team inside the building, and the squad's landing around them.
The late rotates into these buildings are the ticket, though. You can play on top, you can play underneath, you can play inside. Inside's definitely better than the other two, but if that's all you've got left, LG try and do it. BR Demons and MDY White, they pretty much landed on top of each other from those rotates coming out of checkpoint. They both go down to Cloud9. North Eption as well losing their lives. And Passion UA and Heroes seem to be the ones who kind of came out of checkpoint unscathed.
Funk gets that knock, but may get eliminated in your feet. Part of the fray of all the action that we see here with 10 squads left. Boogie Borders inside of this building as they try to wrap around. But they have to take this safely because they know that Na'Vi is on the bottom side. They're also going to be able to try to take this fight while avoiding the squads around the area that may have them in their line of sight. But a huge move with the Trident being right there.
Yeah, 4 squads in this bottom side makes it very, very tough as they are going to have to get up the hill eventually. Sitting down here, I mean, sometimes you just have to drop, but there's no cover, as you can see, especially not from Sweet with the Digi.
And the RE45, the Hammy's ringing through the air, but he was slow. He gets knocked while LG were fixated on somebody else inside the building. A little disconnected. Slayer, what are you doing as he moves in? The knock grenade, he clutches it out for LG.
Slayer, this time he's the savior, but will he have time to get both teammates back up? They're low down and they've still got to come back. I think it's, is there one? No, just Raki left alive from Boogie Borders. He might actually look to push this and just grab some easy KP, but Na'Vi are above them as well.
Cloud9 surviving the onslaught of pressure from checkpoint though, but LG gave up the high ground when they decided to commit to oxygen, and now it's going to be free for Na'Vi, who were inside that building that LG were on originally, now only leaving Funk alive.
He has the evac tower though, exactly what he needed in this situation. You can see he's waiting, doesn't want to take it too early, but at this point, Na'Vi's attention is very much focused on them. They can smoke behind and then just worry about the single player at their rear.
Oh, they see him. It's just a matter of time. LG get eliminated. Nice try here. 5 squads left.
That was a good try from LG.
Pick that up, but it's still a huge KP game for LG as they try to find the other squad here. Cloud9 holding the high ground hilltop.
We got Cloud9.
So Riddle Order, they've been holding the building. It's got 5 kills for them so far. Disguised Na'Vi heroes, Cloud9 still in the mix as well.
Who's
Cloud9
alive in Disguise left? Is it still their full squad?
Hard cover.
Enemy over there. As C9 see the action in front of them, using the natural landscape to get out of the LOS of the squads right in front of them. Moby Beacon after Moby Beacon to build up some even more cover.
Heroes just a solo at this point with Bastion.
Disguise getting eliminated. Enemy being the last one alive, taken out from the rooftop. That was Na'Vi. Now moving in here, let's jump into a listening with Na'Vi with our last 4 remaining squads and C9 above them.
I have to fight them. I have Bengal.
I know.
Yeah, we have base. Scan in 4 seconds.
1 second, Bengal. 1 second, Bengal.
They close to go. We can climb left.
Yeah, we can just chill. For a sec.
Yeah, chill a second.
Bengaling that. Wait, the team's staying out from the building. What if you just split his heady and go right? Fight for this.
Okay.
Just wait. Not yet. We're good here. That thing is gonna be out before us. So good. Just hold this. I am. We play for right, okay? There's rock here.
Yeah.
Okay. So. Wait, top it on the other side. No?
I can scan if you want. Scan.
No, they're still there. 50. They might hit us. Focus right.
Yeah, I need to watch it. Popping up.
Smoke in the window.
I need a smoke in the open, top. I need a smoke in the open.
Smoking. Just cross to this and hold.
Yeah, I need to.
Focus left.
All right, Na'Vi getting pushed out by the circle. You can see they were waiting for some of the ultimates to come up and pave their way into this final circle here. But Cloud9 with the height advantage do too much damage, and I think Na'Vi are done for.
With the distraught Palms 2 coming in, look who sneaked away behind C9. It is no other than Riddle Order trying to find these PK shots. Now Stera needs to hit those. No way! Saucer following up. It's only one left here as Heroes outscoop something. C9 get eliminated. Bastion, maybe the hero.
Gets Heroes into second place.
Spaghetti until the melee to give Heroes the dub for game 3. They were lying in wait. The carry as his teammates rise Bastion up. He was sneaking to see if he had an opportunity, Gino.
He was a solo.
Yes.
I think from about like 8 or 9 squads left alive. I mean, we didn't get the vision of Riddle Order sort of like at that last moment. I still thought they had 2 or 3 left alive. Oh my God. You do not see that. You do not see a solo just coming out to win that. Wow, all right. Hats off to Bastion.
5 KP, but it's all the timing that went into that rotate. While Riddle Order see the opportunity onto C9 who take care of Na'Vi, Riddle Order think, all right, we have the high ground. They focus on this fight. But the solo coming in, sneaking through with the Hemlock hipfire shots.
Not much to say, but that's just a hero effort. I mean, to be able to weave your way through that, I mean, you know, smokes last for less time than they ever have before, and he used that to keep himself up until the final 2, and somehow that was enough to pull the trigger and win that. And just an incredible clutch there from Bastion. Indonesian player, has played through so many different pro league splits here in APAC South and so many teams, and now getting picked up by Heroes vindicated that decision, I think, with that performance just there.
Super huge here too, because I believe after that game, they got like 30 points in total, where they were struggling behind teams like Kinotrope, who are leading the pack, are like at 44 points or so, and we've already hit beyond that midway benchmark too, Genome. So a lot of these teams seeing where they are. It's been a fantastic time to cast through Stormpoint. We still got 3 more games to go as we transition onto World's Edge. But before we do that, I want to hear some thoughts over from the desk, guys. Take it away.
Thank you so much, Vicky, Kitty, and Genome. You guys did fantastically covering our first 3 games. And as we come back up to the stage at the Galen Center, Rain Day here as your host with Zephyr, Jayhawk, and Graceful joining me. Shots of Heroes echo in our mind. The flag of Indonesia from APAC South, but really it felt a little bit more like a cape, Zephyr, considering their namesake of Heroes. It felt really appropriate for them to be waving it behind them like that.
Of course, seeing this org especially jump onto the APAC South region here recently after their trade off of EMEA has been at least an evolution for not only them, but of course the roster as a whole. So coming out of that last game, representing especially as a solo to pull off the 1v1 of a century against a Gibraltar. I'm sure we'll talk about that more.
All right, well, let's get into the match results here. We just saw 3 exciting games, and it was APAC domination in the first part of our elimination bracket 1. Of course, 10 teams will be going home, and so the impact of these stats is massive. You've played all year to get to this moment, and at this point in time, you've got 3 games to change your fate or keep it going. And Jayhawk, we did look at this as well. Heroes with a big win. As we take a look at the top 10 from that last game, it does just sometimes take 1 game here in this elimination bracket to almost secure a top 10 for you and your team.
It does, and when you see Heroes, Riddle, Cloud9, LG with 14 kills in that game, a lot of these teams are starting to pick up steam, and now heading into World's Edge, if they can continue that and just get a few more points because they had their big game, they could be on their way to losers round 2.
Bottom 10 as well, not happy about it in this game, but look at LG, 14 kills, 17 points. Though they didn't place high, they are certainly firing and rolling. Maybe on the other side though, Graceful, WMNDY, a team that we had seen in the first part of group stage really be dominant, not figuring it out. Also never to change, a representative we've seen here from China, but also not really figuring out how to get points on the board in this elimination bracket.
Yeah, having a hard time to adapt, but that's because all the teams that have not been performing has adapted. We've seen a lot of teams that have been playing slow is now playing mid-speed instead. So as teams are shuffling up their playstyles and tempos, we're gonna see the the leaderboard swap around.
Well, as we take a look at these games, you can see the impact of Game 3. But let's walk it back to Game 1. I think we want to talk about that one, Zephyr. It was your call for Kinotrope to do well. I don't know if you have a crystal ball back there, but you were right on so many occasions.
No, it's something that we got to chat about with this roster before jumping into today here. And it was actually an incredible win from them because it wasn't set up to come out this way. Of course, Geared Gaming getting into this position incredibly early on from their rotate after great wipes against teams like NTC is something that should lead to a win. DSG, though, they come into punish here. They try to play off of that classic design full court. What comes out, though, is Arupa plays it small, plays it quiet, plays it silent, bides his time. And the fantastic thing here is, I mean, DSG's fantastic themselves. They actually take this so close on the other side, and from this extra height, Arupa is allowed to have this free angle and shots to take advantage. But what gets even more absurd here is we talk about the last one of these final clips from this Havoc. He doesn't have to do this. He launches forward for the assault and takes the 1v1 mano-a-mano.
I love the confidence. I love the play. It was so smooth, and that just started off Kinotrope in Game 1, which would end up in a great Game 2 as well, Jayhawk.
Yeah, they go back-to-back here, but before that, Oxygen, who actually places second, they have a key moment on the south side, and it was key because that southern team, whoever wins from that edge, is the biggest threat to Kinotrope. Oxygen doesn't play it that cleanly. They don't fully get that wipe on a DSG early enough. They didn't throw their cost goal to get rid of them. That ends up having Oxygen lose a member as they rotate in from Kinotrope. and then it sets up a 2v3 here where in the end game, Kinotrope, they have the high ground, and they're able to drop down, say, hello there, and with a little bit of a introduction on the low ground, they're able to throw their toss skull from the height, get some barrels down. The other two players on the rock are able to put pressure across. Oxygen's just sitting in a corner and they're stuck. There's nowhere to go. And as the duo, what can you really do? You can't send it an 8 to people on the rock because the guy above, he's going to destroy you for it. So they sit in the corner. It's unfortunate that they lost the member earlier, and Kinotrope coming down, they go back-to-back with a big win.
Notably, Kinotrope running some off-meta weapons quite often. Cars, Mastiffs, triple takes, which is a terrible gun to get shot at when Hemlocks and Havocs are also shooting at you. But let's not talk too much on the weapon meta right now, Graceful. Game 3, Kinotrope would take a seat back, and we'd see a new winner.
Yeah, the fact that Heroes comes out winning this is crazy, but it just goes to show how people are hungry right now. Every single team, except Heroes, who's ratting currently, is playing proactively, looking to take the game. They're making plays, which ends up all of them fighting, skirmishing, and, you know, Navi goes out early. Riddle trades as well. It actually comes down to a 1v1 with Bastion here, clutching it up. Look at him, he's just shooting damage out on everybody who's just joining in on the prey, and he cleans up. It's still one solo left that he ends up taking a 1v1 versus the Gibby here. Honestly, the biggest fault I would like to say here is that Bastion played this perfectly to his potential and his play, because there's only so much you can do as a solo. Other teams, however, sent it a little bit too hard. You need to play it, you know, more passively, play together, hold hands, not take 1v1s in the end into 3 teams.
Well, great games to start us off. Our winners bracket is coming up after this, and only 10 teams will be facing the bottom 10 of that winners. Right now, elimination is upon. Omit all the way down to never to change if it stays like this after 3 more games. So they have got a chance, but they have got to take it. Currently, the cutoff is 18 points, which means even a game from BR Demons right now, one big win, could put them into elimination bracket 2, but they have got to make a move. LG looking strong, DSG looking strong as well. Heroes, Geared Gaming, and Kinotrope representing our APAC squads to really dominate in this elimination bracket 1. We'll see how it goes, though, because we've got more Apex action coming up for you. We are about to get into our final 3 games, which will send the first 10 teams home from our ALGS Split 1 playoffs. But before we do that and throw down to casters, if you think it's easy to play Apex like a pro and figure out where that zone is going to go, then you're probably like most people who watch from the stands. But could you actually do it? Well, we put ourselves to the test as a talent squad and saw who could actually guess the zones right. So before we get into our final 3 games, check out this piece.
Hello ALGS fanatics, today we will be hosting a friendly game of 2v2 zone prediction. The teams are going to be myself and Vicky against Tiff and Dia. Here we go. All right, zone 1, 20 seconds. I really hope you're good at this because I'm very bad.
Don't throw, just don't throw.
Okay, so this is pulling south, right?
Yes, but
How south?
I have a feeling.
20 seconds, Vicky.
I think it's gonna be the mountain.
The mountain?
I've been griefed
Where?
there.
Like here?
Oh, no, the
Point.
left side. Maybe the left side, exiting
Here?
out of spider caves. Do you have arachnophobia? It's
Yes.
definitely outside. Oh,
You think
maybe
here?
not there.
Stop. Wow, okay, so we have to leave it there. That's 20 seconds.
You know how I'm feeling.
I mean, you want to go south, right?
I do.
I'm okay with going south. I feel like this should go a little further north, like right over here. I swear I've seen it end like on these fences.
All right, well, I'm trusting you.
Okay, you need to be faster this time.
All
Zone
right.
2. All right.
You're equally in this.
So Mirage Etoile, or it could be finishing up like here.
Like right there, yeah.
Yeah, this.
Yeah.
You happy
High
with that?
ground.
Are you
I'm happy
sure?
with that one.
You use your
Yeah,
finger
yeah.
this time.
I use
So a
my
little
finger,
bit
so it's faster.
less descriptive
I think
words.
it.
Okay, good.
I like Graveyard, like
You
towards like that kind of
This
southern area.
I like that. I like where your brain is at.
But this could go back to staging.
All the way?
No.
I like this guess. It could end here.
I mean, you're the one holding all the power. Okay.
Okay.
World's Edge again.
Giving me anxious.
So it could be up here, falls up north.
Or closer to Epi. It
Like
could
down
pull-
here?
Yeah, sometimes not directly on Epi, south of Survey, like by the
Like that?
respawn. Yeah, like right there.
You think it goes all the way to train tracks?
How can we not guess train tracks?
Oh, no, that's fine. That's fine. I would just pull out towards a little bit around Survey, maybe the bins per se. But I think the train tracks are safe.
Okay, back to Storm Point. I'm already nervous. Here.
Like right there, I've seen it pull towards that mountaintop.
This one?
No,
This one?
mountaintop, north.
This.
Like right here.
Here.
I'm using my finger this time.
This.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Okay, good. Good finger.
I'm so good at this.
I'm just following your fingers.
So it's my fault if we lose.
Yes.
You have to go tail.
Here?
Yeah, 100%.
No,
Okay,
I think you're right.
I love it.
Can I do here?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is good. Trust your instincts. Trust your instincts.
I don't like my instincts, bro. They get me in trouble. What do you mean?
Fifth and final zone, back to World's Edge. We've done great so far. I think this is pulling...
Directly on Overlook?
I reckon Overlook.
I would think a little bit north of Overlook.
Like up here?
I've seen that, or I've seen like the bins to the south side exiting out of the vault, but you know what? It's your turn.
I like this one.
Okay,
Yeah, I think it's going to pull through this corner. We'll leave it there, and I think you did terrible.
What?
Yeah.
You're on my team. You're on my team.
I know. I was just directing. Yeah.
Think of how many times we've seen it pull to No Name, in particular, also the rocks.
Yeah.
They love the rocks. Not all the rocks are included, though, so...
And I feel like this is good. Over here is good.
I think I'm crying on the inside. I think I'm
Okay.
crying on the inside.
Like actually critically evaluate. I'm pretty sure I've seen that zone ending.
All right, it is time for the results. As a reminder, Vicky and I were red, Tiff and Dia were blue. You ready? Let's see how this goes. I don't think we did very well. Zone 1 you guys took. All right, Zone 2.
We are so much better than you.
You guys, you are way better than Vicky was. Yeah. Zone 3.
Train tracks.
Train tracks.
Okay.
The funny part is, he actually called out the north edge. I was like, nah, dude, it's moving ahead of me.
Yeah, that's where I started.
I tried to.
3-0, so technically you've already won, but to see whether we even got one.
It's fine.
Oh my.
Imagine.
You said wasn't down beast.
I said by mountaintop. I did not expect down beast. I totally.
Can we have one? All I want is one.
A single one.
At this point, I'm rooting for you.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, yes!
Okay.
Yes!
You got
Let's
one.
go!
Do you know why
Let's
she got this
go.
one? Because she was showing us clips of her jumping off right here. It's fine. It's fine.
4-1 in the end.
4-1.
On the technicality, I still win.
Yeah.
Wait, how's that fair?
Just because I'm the host. That does it. Tiff and Dia, congratulations. You are the winners. Vicky, you are the loser. I am always the winner. Thank you everyone for watching. Let's get back to some ALGS action.
Well, let's see if our players here in the Galen Center are as good as picking the end games as Dia and I. Tiff here, we're going to be bringing you all the action, which is quite sad here because unfortunately, I'm not sure why we have to send people home today.
It's because we're willing to be cruel. We're willing to do what it takes. We obliterated Vicky and Gaskin, and well, that's the streak of cruelty we're going to need to send some folks home after what has been already an incredible 2 days of play. The nice thing is that on that note, there's a positive because we get to send 10 people onwards to continue their dreams at the Split 1 playoffs.
The goal to make it to that match point finals on Sunday begins now. As you can see, Kinotrope with those back-to-back wins on Stormpoint. Heroes coming in clutch for that last match win. But for 3 games of World's Edge that are going to determine which 10 teams pack their bags and sit in those stands tomorrow.
No better map for it. In fact, Tiff, this is the very first map of the Split 1 playoffs where we are not seeing a single hot drop. No teams are contested, at least initially, on World's Edge. Although we do have a few teams that are, say, splitting POIs. This isn't going to be one of those drop-in immediately fight situations that we've had for literally every map until now.
And that has been so brutal for a lot of our squads during the group stages, allowing those teams that have been dominant to be able to soak up the majority of points. Now, granted, Kinotrope, they did a really solid job of doing that on Stormpoint, and let's hope that they can keep that moving through. But for now, let's lock in those legend selects and get ready to determine our fate. And to be fair, I want to go ahead and shout out LG. I'm very proud of what we're seeing here today. We're inside the top 10 for now and only 3 maps to hold on to it.
If you're giving shout-outs, I'm of course going to give a holler to Geared Gaming from South America. They're a team that a lot of people looked forward to, and they and BR Demons in the lobby have had some really good wins so far, but Geared have really taken it up a notch moving into our elimination round 1. We'll see if they can keep this going. As ever in the balance, I'm really wondering about the fate of Wonton Dumpling.
Coming out of APAC South, they've looked very promising, but have yet to be able to display that on the main stage. And the time is now. Our players now exiting from that dropship to get to their POIs. And, well, you said it. A lot of our teams get to focus on the game at hand and not that 50-50 contest strat. For North Eption, we get to see a bit of where they are. Passion UA, you know, Max Strafe's first time in the building on LAN. We cannot let that end now.
Max Strafe has done so incredibly well. 6th seed in EMEA for Passion UA. And after finally making it to LAN, we'll see what they're able to do. Operating out of Sky East is not nearly as enviable as Sky West, but we've got the information that there's going to be an Evo Harvester right next door to them, and you've got nice rotational options should you choose to go further north. We see a lot of teams landing in Sky East actually end up rotating into the train tracks that separate them from Survey Camp.
Well, let's go ahead and look and see where that first zone is going to be pulling towards, and it does kind of intersect towards that south side of Skyhook, which makes me worried because a lot of these zones do tend to pull towards these choke areas, and it can even go back towards Countdown. And for those teams that get there early and find themselves in a bit of congestion, I'm not liking that look.
We saw a sniper tower ending earlier in this, or rather in the playoffs. And so there's going to be plenty of opportunity, especially for teams that actually land by a ring console to get into ring early. I'm thinking about BR Demons and LG over by Lava Fisher, who both have that advantage. Landslide has rolled with the same, and How should be making his own prediction. One of the difficult things about a ring with this much open space is that predicting often isn't enough because there aren't buildings to hold to get you to an end game.
For North Eption, immediately rotating up towards this train track area. They do have this. Okay, so something I like about this, Dia, right? We have the Newcastle. They're notorious for running that paired alongside the Watson. And I know we heard the devs talk earlier this week that a lot of the changes for the upcoming Season 21 were based solely off their playstyle, which is such a stark difference from prior iterations of North Eption in the past. This is the team that actually took more ring damage than any other squad, but in the distance, I think I just saw a member of How go down.
LG start to make their rotate into zone. I like that they're prioritizing the sniper tower, but they see a Loba land right in front of them. Bunk does drop short to cut this off. Well, we've got Slayer on the high ground. LG are looking for a fight. Still difficult to take, and we know that North Eption is coming in from a distance.
How has fallen. Whittled away by Funk. That's got to feel good to start getting those eliminations on the board, racking up those points, because albeit currently sitting in 5th place, and at the end of the day, you just have to find yourself in the top 10 for this series. I don't care if you win, I don't care if you're 10th, you're moving on.
Meanwhile, Boogie Boarders have made their way a little bit further south as well. They started Countdown, so have not really made a massive shift. I'd like to see them hold both sides of this tunnel that leads into Skyhook because it's a really active position. But by that same token, you can play a little bit more passive by using this cart and instead playing out of that for placement points more than anything.
And that's the infamous cart that we were talking about early on when it came to Luminosity playing from there. And I'm curious to see if that play is going to be separated out or if they'll make a move to take on Boogie Boarders and a victim from that scenario. But for now, Omit getting poked at, Blast continuing on that rotation alongside Lufka and Light. And, you know, we think about it, right? Lufka's on that redemption arc to get back into the finals since playing with Ascend and Kashera.
MDY make their move. Everybody moving up through the north is interesting. I think at this point, if you're going through chokes leading into Fragment, you'd much rather go through the north of Fragment, pass all this by, and take an Epicenter rotate into the zone. Actually moving through Fragment and Monument proper is going to be really difficult, really punishing, and at this point, I'd expect a lot of the southern rotates that would take you closer to Landslide to be very congested. Wonton Dumpling will have to play their cards exactly right.
Well, here for Riddle, just trying to make it out. We come in towards the end of it, whittled away by C9 and Omit, but Cloud9, this was my pick for the day. I had believed in them, and in prior conversations when chatting about it, we were like, did Naughty listen to the Any Given Sunday Al Pacino speech? He said he locked in, it's a little bit of a slow burn, takes a couple games to warm up, and the time is now.
After taking that fight, an immediate disengage has just taken C9 right into the face of another team. Stabilizing at this point is difficult, but they've only got 3% until Rolling Thunder, a huge defensive tool.
And I think it's going to be really great if we can chain those smokes together to hide out from the line of sight. But we think about where they're located in that choke. You have Omit that's just ahead of them, who are also vying to keep themselves in the top 10. They are currently sitting in 11th place, 4 points outside of it.
I do wonder what path C9 will have to take. Doesn't look like at least Sorcerer has got an evac tower, though the team may very well have one available. The problem is that even if you do, you're very likely to get shot out of it with two separate squads holding you on either side. Omit have plenty of time, actually have zone priority on C9, and it would take likely another team entirely to disjoint this stalemate that both squads are at.
And I'm not going to want to see them go home early in any means, but for now, Luminosity, not too troublesome, right? They were able to recover Sweet's banner. For Slayer and Funk, this is going to be the newbies on land's time to shine. Look for that recovery, and they do have a respawn beacon here as well. The question is, how many teams have found themselves from that countdown angle? We know that Boogie Boarders were playing towards the right side further in, and Disguise will likely be rotating up from Thermal.
Beacon's technically available, and with the smoke, they could go for it. Unfortunately, no smoke from Bang makes this a little risky. Funk gets spotted, there's not even gas to keep him safe, and the Boogie Boarders knew it all along. They could pick up a KP here easy. One beam from a Nemesis will do it, but an Arc Star does let Funk start to disengage. Let's take a listen in with the Boogie Boarders as they search for weakness around them.
Dead. Nice. Can we get that fucking thirst?
Careful.
Yeah, it's a
I'm going left with the thirst.
I don't know. Let's go right. I'm going right for the thirst as well. I can see him in a second.
We can just leave him there and wait to see if his teammate goes.
No, I want the kill.
Okay.
He's on my side. Fuck me.
Target spotted.
All right, so basically they're just looking for the full on Funk, and now that's going to leave Slayer likely by himself. So for Cloud9, Frost's first time on land. Chaotic has been here before, had subbed Naughty twice prior, 22 champs and 22 split 2 playoffs. So it's been a while for this squad, and well, now is the time to hone in all the skills that are going to be required. We just got to dab away from the incoming barrage of nades and just look for angles, not overextend quite yet, but NTC, who wasn't really able to play the first 3 maps due to the contest, is just being annihilated.
C9 hole up for a little while, safe because of the caustic gas. TYK waiting for the 3-2-1, and they find it. NTC lose yet another player, and it'll be Tom Young-Kung jumping on in to finish off NTC, but C9 are fresh inside.
They just need to make sure we can find some angles onto Asia, but those disruptors, you can hear them, they can be dangerous. Naughty does grab that, and Dexter gets a trade. So here in this 2v2 through the fence line, and when you're a caustic, man, your hitbox is just so big. Thankfully, we've got one to be able to help out, but for Sauce, left standing inside. Geared are crazy, man. They were hunting for all the eliminations, and they take out BR Demons and Cloud9. This is not okay.
Both squads falling simultaneously. Tom Young-Kung, however, who came in for the initial third party, get out with exactly 1 member alive. That's going to be a very small victory for them, but one nonetheless that comes with a bit of KP. A singular point, a chance to run out for some placement points, and Gear to the beneficiaries of all the loot.
For a moment of reprieve, we get to see where that map does start pulling. Now, North Eption, where they have positioned themselves is so akin to that Watson-Newcastle combo. You're allowed to play spaces that normal teams wouldn't be able to hold on. When you think of the Caustic, the Bangalore, the Blood, that is not a defensive comp unless you're inside a building. But when it comes to those open endings, I like what we're seeing, but will they be able to hold on to it?
There's a good chance that they, like many other teams, will be shaken down out of their position. WMNDY make their way through Monument. We talked about this earlier. A risky rotate when you're dipping down into the low ground of Monument and Fragment. You expose yourself to a lot of risk. Wonton Dumpling learned that the hard way, and now XZZ full thirsted. WMNDY control these buildings, have priority on the next zone, and should be able to move up at least a few placement points, even if nobody else comes in for kill points.
Well, it makes sense for them. They need to get as many eliminations as possible to boast themselves into that top 10. Another squad responsible for that journey is going to be Omit, just shy of the top 10. Now, granted, they've been playing heavy on the edge, late rotating up towards the north. And for now, the position is solid. They will have access to a ring console to get that extended information. You can see that Light has already gone out and smoked it for him.
It's going to be nice just to know Honestly, there's not much that you can do with the information from the position that Omit are in, because you and I both have the information that we're going a little bit more open space. There's not a great spot for them to hold. Evac towers will become an option, but without knowing where everyone is by hitting a survey beacon, it's real risky to take an evac tower and play for Godspot at the same time. I really like, however, the approach that Keenatrope are taking, and while Keenatrope are able to hold their backs, if they can prevent teams from moving in on them from Skyhook, they should be able to leverage the incredible 3v3 power we've already seen to get KP in a great position.
Here comes Beast of the Hunt, and the aggressive nature of Keenatrope goes in. We don't even care. We're throwing the nades, and we're just going to keep with the barrage of damage. Arufa, he's clutched end games, but can he do it here in the vault for the mid game? Through the gap, you see the health just ticking down towards the knocked players. And we do have at least the gold knockdown to hide behind. Barrel forward, here comes the Chow.
Real late barrels, but having 3 of them off cooldown is really nice. This has to constantly take ticks from the gas in order to survive, and unfortunately, but now 2 Thirsts going the way of Keenatrope. Rufa should be able to stick a res with the safety of the gas. In comes the send. Rufa's got the havoc!
Rufa or Alpha, you tell me. This team has been so impressive, but the job's not done. Passion UA, they know what's at stake here. They smelled the blood in the water and just parade them with the Arc Stars. Sonya with the wingman closing the distance. We just need to connect it, and Keenatrope falls.
And here I had hoped that the caustic gas would be enough, but you walk in with a wingman and things really start to change. They're not the only ones to go down, however. Oxygen have been taken out by Disguised.
To be some well-needed points, and a lot of our talent team will be impressed knowing that they locked in their predictions in the hands of Design, Timmy, and Enemy. Now, I've been a big Enemy fan ever since his time on Atlanta Premier, playing alongside the likes of Crook and Hill, and he's just really been honing a lot of his competitive nature, and I think it's been valuable here, right? We've seen his time on Conduit. He's just very adaptable when it comes to whatever legend they can throw on him, and it is quite frequently, I'm going to put him as the backbone. I think he's a solid backbone of Disguised.
I think we could even put him perhaps as one of the Dexters that TYK have, and unfortunately with Dexter having just fallen, TYK don't last a whole lot longer. They're going to be taking down WMNDY, inheriting their fight and having high ground over this edge of zone position. You should be able to play Gatekeeper effectively here as WMNDY.
Into the top 10 we go, and Bolin coming in as a last-minute sub to WMNDY, and I think it's added a whole other dynamic to this squad.
They've certainly gone from a team that many people did not know much about. Qualified out of China and have managed to make it all the way here, even scoring some really impressive wins. Their status in this tournament still very dependent on how they're able to perform in today's games, but if they're able to repeat the performances they gave us on the very first look at this team, they should be just fine.
Just 2 points shy of that top 10 situation we need to be in. Omit currently has found themselves in there, but by not much longer. Oxygen Esports in 9th has fallen, and it's going to leave a little bit of room for our teams to leapfrog over them. But as the zone pulls out further towards that monument side in favor of North Eption, Disguised, MDY White, elsewhere, Na'Vi has now taken the position that LG was previously in.
Na'Vi, they see an evac tower going off in the distance. Boogie Boarders should be able to rotate past them since nobody actually thought to shoot at the evac tower. They're going to inherit the choke point, perhaps test the waters for a team like Na'Vi as they rotate directly over North Eption. Na'Vi now have to choose. Do they follow in the wake of that evac tower, take the choke, maybe a third party, or do they end up going to the opposite side that they should expect is less busy?
Well, here we go. The result of some late evacs and maybe some Wraith plays from Designful, reuniting alongside Timmy and just trying to stay here in the corner. We've lost out on Enemy. Sentinel in hand, amped up for that extra damage move. If we could have connected it, it would have been a different story, but we portal in closer. Use the Havoc as it's intended. Dropping Raki, Boogie Boarders falls. And do we have the ability to get Timmy back up? Are we in a position to do so? I see the res going off, but not until they start nading. Design slides out of the way from that, but now the door has opened. Omit effect in full charge.
Omid cannot forget about the area behind them, however, and unfortunately, having dropped light on the way, it's unlikely that they're able to recover. Wonton Dumpling as a full 3-person team once again control the entire north side of the zone.
Oh, that angle. It's rather unfortunate. It's going to be able to relay that information over to Lufka, working on that ult excel to get Beast of the Hunt online. But for Passion UA, who needed to start turning some things around, be able to predict those zones. Speaking to some people in their camp today, they were talking about how in those groups they were struggling with where the zones were pulling and their accurate calls and just finding themselves out on rotation. Well, this is a position we love to see them in.
In a 6-game series, 1 win should be enough to push you into top 10. A singular first place placement. If Passion UA are able to get that, even a top 2 here could be enough to secure them into elimination bracket round 2.
And then if they can just keep furthering that, hold on for a little bit longer. Now, we do know into the top 5, we did lose on mid just a little prior. But for now, we just have to wait. That defensive setup that you've got from the Newcastle Watson will be hard to breach, but for Wonton Dumpling and the ring closing, let's see what Peak God can do. Previously notorious for breaking out the path in group stages on the contest, now locking in the horizon, drops the black hole, coupled with some arc stars. It should be enough to get them in.
Zoning ultimate is good, and it even connects with some damage, but Wonton Dumpling not done nearly enough to secure this fight. First knock comes in, and WMNDY have lost 2. North Eption go down on the opposite end of the ring, and Wonton Dumpling keep the fight going. They are far from out of the woods. 4 squads left, and they've got to go through the last member of WMNDY.
For Passion UA, still trying to hold on here. Navi finding some well-needed elimination points, but the fight comes through in Sonya. I love that we're smoking out our south side here to be able to maintain the bat, but we still get shot through it. Max Strafe with the Mastiff from above, looking like OP1 himself. Can he make it happen? No! But Artico last standing, and the grab lift will allow them to maneuver through the hillside.
Wonton Dumpling, perfect timing on the third party, are now in the last 2 squads. It's them, and still the solo from WMNDY. They easily slide into the #1 seed from APAC South, takes game number 4.
Gugu, Jackie Chan, the whole crew celebrating. Stand up, relish it, show off, because this is where you start making a name for yourself.
Gino mentioned it earlier, but as we've moved through this series, as we've moved through the highest stakes games of the tournament, we are finally starting to see the Wonton Dumpling that terrorized APAC South. The 3v3 monstrosities and the killer instinct they demonstrated in this 4th game of the day has really put that out into the stage for everyone to see.
Coming into map 4 in 7th place and breaking into the top 3. That is how you start to assert a little confidence for yourself, right? You're like, I'm no longer in that bottom half of the top 10. I can withstand more.
They're really putting to the test whether scrims are a way to succeed at LAN or not, because in the first couple of days, Wonton Dumpling was not doing hot. But to be able to turn things around after what we were expecting, some solid VOD reviews, some solid practice in the off time, they've managed to, even without really scrimming beforehand, still make a statement like this and keep themselves going. We mentioned it earlier, 1 win should be enough to take you into elimination round 2. They've just done that.
Well, the journey hasn't been easy. They were the teams that were constantly contested in those group stages, most notably Lava Siphon, TSM, a lot of things going on there. But for our match 4 results, we'll see how it paid off. Wonton Dumpling, 7 eliminations, 19 total points.
WMNDY right underneath them. We discussed how this team really made a splash in the first day. They're continuing that trend, even as they fell off a bit in the previous days. Natas Vincer just underneath them, actually having a pretty solid performance, but my curiosity lies towards the bottom end of this leaderboard, Tiff, because we're not moving from World's Edge. Last 2 games now, 4 teams to put up points, and geared are right at the cutoff for how you should be performing when moving into the second half of the day.
Still quite impressed with Omid's 8 eliminations. They played Edge exceptionally well throughout that early to mid map, and it paid off. Disguise, despite falling earlier than they would have liked, still walk away with 5 eliminations. I'd imagine everyone for that crew, well, except for the players themselves, are going to be happy with that. They're going to seek to improve.
And it was Omid and C9 that were actually holding each other out previously. Really curious where C9 ended up in the overall leaderboards. They did pick up a few kill points and actually took a negative rotate back into Lava Siphon to continue looking for them. Really fascinated with how they're playing. Unfortunately, it only ends up with 3 kills. The initial squad wipe as the 4th and 5th parties that came in at Lava Siphon were just too much to handle.
And Kinatrope here, now granted, back-to-back map winners, and 1 and 2 did fall victim into that vault setting. A nearby third party would be the end of them. Oxygen. A lot of our teams had faith in them to make it into the top 10, so let's see how they're pairing out on the series results. 11. We were talking about how falling early could allow teams from outside the top 10 to leapfrog over them, and Omid has been able to do so.
Still really impressed with Kinatrope. World's Edge doesn't even have to go that well for them in order to secure a spot in the next round. LG still struggling for their tournament lives. 1 or 2 bad games could mean they get pushed out of the next round.
And for North Eption, we were talking about them rotating into a nice spot early on. We were like, can they hold on to it? They fell earlier than anticipated also, and then, you know, you see the results and you're just like, we have 5 points separating us from getting 1 step closer to the match point finals.
I will say, Tiff, we talked about the Watson Newcastle. Well, Watson Newcastle do make it easier to hold on to an open ground space. It doesn't make an open ground space good, and I think North Eption really learned that the hard way. As early as they rotated, as great of a relative position as they had, it's still in the middle of a lot of nothing, and they got run out by several squads.
It's going to be dangerous, but our squads only have 2 more maps to continue their dream here at the ALGS Year 4 Split 1 playoffs. We're going to have the rest of the series up just after this break. Welcome back, Los Angeles. The Galen Center is packed. I've been really impressed with the crowd so far, and it's only beginning. Teams that show up to send some players home, but for those looking to carry their journey, chaotic, locked in, trying to find a bit of rest here, we see you.
Cloud9 are right on the line of teams that could qualify as well. Currently sitting in 8th place overall, 29 points to their name. Still pretty easy to leapfrog if some other teams start getting things going. You can already see the match loading up on the players' screens. They're ready to drop into our second game on World's Edge. And I can't help but wonder how things will change, given that we got, I'd say, a pretty rare zone ending that round.
We did, and quite frankly, I've seen that a lot leading up to the Split 1 playoffs. Maybe not so much as scrims, so every time I see it, I know we're going to be playing alongside the mountainside, whether it's to the west of Monument, south, pulling towards No Name. They are just not my favorite zones, Dia.
They're really tough to play because you either have to play in the open ground that leads up to the sniper tower. We saw a few teams like Keenatrope actually fall in the tunnel leading into that area, and the opposite side has you playing from this really difficult low ground spot that leads up from Monument and Fragment. Next time around, who knows? Maybe we'll have teams take a different approach. You can't always move from Grandma's house, but for that, you've got to make a move early. We actually talked about Wonton Dumpling when they were coming up from the Geyser side, thinking about how they should be moving through the north of Epicenter. And while they fell in Monument for just a bit, they ended up getting their third back and ultimately moving in through the north for the win.
Well, 2 more matches to go to determine whose dreams stay alive here in the notorious City of Dreams. Lock in that, get those legend selects in. Sometimes people bait us, right? So this will show through what the players are even hovering over. And I've seen teams decide to maybe bait us out a little bit. We'll see them hovering over, maybe a Mirage. I see an Octane there. Fuse, is that real? Are we getting that?
Am I being bait? I literally turn around towards the stage. I'm like, could this be? Could this really be true? Perhaps a few teams having some fun as the last couple of rounds, if your spot is secured, certainly do allow for you to experiment, for you to BM a little bit.
I was gonna say, Dia, if you're confidently in the top 2, knowing that you're going to be advancing on to the next round, what do you seek to do? A lot of our squads will, you know, maybe make it more tough for squads to make it through, especially if there's POIs on the line when it comes to the next round. You want to make sure that your journey into Matchpoint Final Sunday is going to be as normal/easy as you can make it.
You know, you talk about POIs. One of the things that's fascinating about where Wonton Dumpling are at is that they have returned, I'm going to say, to Lava Siphon.
Yes.
They actually gave this up, despite laying claim to it in the first day of groups, simply because their results weren't as they expected. They wanted to play things a little safer. Now that we're getting into the elimination round, the fact that they've gone all the way back to Wonton Dumpling's original landing spot at Siphon, it actually works out really well for them. I know you're thinking about the zone though, Tiff. This one has us going pretty far north once again.
Are we never going to go south on World's Edge? For Stormpoint, it's all south all day, but for World's Edge, since we've been casting the majority of this map, we are always going northbound. And for Keenatrope here, having Climatizer, that's what I like to see, but this is a zone that should favor Cloud9 from Overlook. Not only did they get a ring console, they have a survey beacon, and they should be able to make sure their rotation will be fine for this.
This one's a weird one because unlike in the piece where we were predicting zone endings, this doesn't fully encompass the northern train track, and so you can't rely on that being the regular zone. Instead, a team like Cloud9 should be wrapping around through the north, but ultimately playing for a spot into survey camp. And I dare say, Tiff, you can actually think about prioritizing Epicenter and the high ground that allows you as a mitigating factor for any unexpected transitions of the ring.
And while we sit here and look at this squad beginning their path, something to note here is I asked them if they considered themselves underdogs coming into the Split 1 playoffs, and they were like, this is kind of a comeback story for us, right? It's our opportunity to prove ourselves throughout this competition. Sauce, this is his first time IGLing. He's been around throughout the levels of competitive iterations in Apex, but he puts in the work. If there's something to be said, those 3 are so passionate about improving. I would hate to see that journey be done here.
I'm seeing a lot of passion on the screen right now. LG, their comms have certainly been aflame over the past few days, but Sweet takes a swing nonetheless, and into smoke, manages to control the singular choke point exit from Skyhook. Boogie Boarders, the ones that actually must have dipped in there to take a bit of the vault, now are going to be rotating behind LG, likely forcing them into a mirroring situation.
I'm worried with that to be said, right? We're looking at this, they're falling down just a few positions, and finding yourself in the 7th through 10th, I'm just not comfortable knowing that there's 2 more maps, one, well, obviously this one, but for now, they move in. Let's see if they're able to grab the survey beacon and get that information, but for Passion UA, still finding themselves just on one of the former buildings in Skyhook, most close to tower.
We did mention how valuable a win would be for them just last game. Unfortunately, Passion UA were not able to find it. Still sit in 14th place overall. Not a comfortable spot. With only 2 games left, every point is going to matter. I'd like to see them prioritize a bit of high ground for the activity that it can provide. At this point, with a longbow sitting inside a building and even on low ground, you're simply not going to get that much KP. And Passion UA do have to rely on KP as something that you can control a lot more than your placement in rings like this.
Well, with this legend composition that they've been running, it really allows them to lock down this building. We're gonna get those fences up. We have the Jenny on deck. And you can just pop up, noting that the Skull Piercer was on the longbow. So if teams are looking to get into this open area at the end game, they should be able to find maybe at least some damage to farm up not only the Evo cache, but hopefully a knock and capitalize off it just to boost the KP.
The BR Demons, unfortunately, while sat right next door, are going to have to rely on some cheeky damage to get their Evos up. They haven't been able to rotate out of Skyhook East with the immense amount of teams that immediately prioritized a northern rotate and are likely going to have to make a negative move, perhaps going even further north in order to survive and hopefully thrive by picking up blues and eventually purples.
Evo cache for them and a nearby white Raven with some information to say, hey, you're not alone here. Teams have been rotating throughout. Tom Young-kun, Geared Gaming, and Wonton Dumpling for that northern rotation. Now, this is one of the scariest beacons to try and grab, so we just have to make sure that we can smoke it out, we have people holding our angles, and as we go up, gotta scout.
It's nice to send your Bangalore up first. She does have a lot of escape potential, especially with her passive. And so just to make sure that nobody's up there, you do get the legend that has a little bit more slipperiness to her. Now,
Get the double time, it's crazy. The 30% speed boost when shot at, you're 100% right.
For their part, Oxygen perhaps not benefiting from exactly the information that you spoke about earlier, but certainly from a powerful position in zone, should be able to ideally play through the south side of this mountain that separates them from Skyhook. There's a chance that you wrap through Skyhook for kills, but I'd be much more comfortable taking the route less traveled as Oxygen.
A team that really benefits from those southern zones on Storm Point, notoriously for landing in their home of Barometer, they just need to be able to continue that success here on World's Edge because they've been teetering in essentially those bubble team areas. I'm not comfortable with it, and you know for a fact that squad is not going to be happy. We have players on that squad that have won championships years ago. They have been winners throughout, and we just need to see, are they going to be, oh no, Navi, we got to get Tyler back into this. Matafe, kinda. Now, here's the deal. Matafe is famous for going out way early when it comes to land, but is so strong at performing online. We're trying to break a stigma here, and we found ourselves inside that top 5.
That's going to be a spot that they might be able to hold on to for now. And Na'Vi, I'd say that their position is pretty hard at risk, not just during this game, but during the course of even the following one, simply because they're landing right next to TYK. TYK, super aggressive squad, regionally, online, they've done it all. They are the only team this tournament to have pulled out Revenant so far, and they're landing right next door to where you'll see Na'Vi rotating from. Na'Vi, of course, landing Dome. TYK constantly rotating from stacks. It stinks these two squads together, especially when we have two North zones back to back.
Oh, I see you. I see you. Peak God, Bobo. Come on, guys. Gugu here. It's fine. If you're going to hold down onto this choke and do everything that requires to maybe suss out the squad looking to get through, that's going to be Geared Gaming. And I'm not sure if they're actually going to proceed to go through that choke or if they'll double down and follow Tom Young-kun's rotation. But for the time being, a lot of our squads that have found themselves in the Fragment East area, that's going to be MDY, White, and Boogie Borders. For Cloud9, they hold the high ground just outside of Monument and are going to be waiting for teams to hit the rotate.
This was one of C9's two options, was to either rotate through the north and try and wrap through slow side of zone, or to prioritize high ground in epicenter. This one is a lot harder to push, also going to be pretty difficult to gather KP from. Cloud9 making a bit of a trade-off for safety and the ability to adjust their strategy late game.
Throughout that moment, we lost North Eption to the hands of Passion UA, which means that they have started to rotate throughout. We last saw them in the Skyhook East area in a building scouting for information. They've made their move to the buildings in front of Tunnel.
Boogie Borders, for their part, I think slower plan and honestly, odd rotate timing to be taking through the low ground in Fragment. We don't have time for it though, as Disguise pick a fight.
Do it!
Sky!
There is something to be said about the Senti. There's something to be said about Timmy. Disguise taking down How and further cementing themselves in the top 3.
That looked really good for Timmy, and definitely the boost that Disguise needed. This lower bracket has been a better story for them than, of course, the group stages was. With plays like that, you've got to imagine they can keep it going, but the real test looks to be coming in the next stage of competition.
Well, you know, did you happen to stop by the Disguised merch booth yet, Dia?
I walk by it every day.
You should, because I stopped by. I got some good merch yesterday. There's like the open thread shirt that looks really good, and then I also bought the Designable shirt. I don't know if you checked that one out, but the back's really interesting.
Yes. I was considering the flag myself, honestly.
Wise man.
Any designful rant, that makes, apparently, for great graphic design. I wouldn't have expected it at the start of the split, but certainly seems to be working out for the DSG Socials team. As we move forward in the game, however, we're getting a lot of teams, including Disguised, making their way into the next zone, something that could be a little bit more difficult. The BR Demons actually making a rotate through this difficult, punishing choke point and finding...
MDY, come on, that stairway is a dangerous one for LQ. Something's to be said about those really crazy Watsons. Gets behind the knockdown, fences it off, makes it more difficult, but the Arc Stars come through and take down.
Nice placement of the Arc Star, then following it through with the swing. Disguised, however, on their rotation and seem to have been caught off guard. Designful goes down, enemy follows. It's all up to Timmy.
A 1v3 for the ages. Look at the health on Na'Vi. They cannot allow to let this go through, but will time help? No, they fall. Artini from BR Demons is able to pick off a couple, and now they're going to be able to reset for free.
And that means that BR Demons have taken the rotation back towards the south. There's another team involved in this, and instantly they're going to try and take the swing. They've swapped a lifeline for this game just to accentuate the fighting that this squad already brought through South America, and they're going to hopefully take out Na'Vi. Third party in from the back, though, and Omit show up big.
Well, with Na'Vi hitting the reset, Omit is granting them a bit of a favor, but instead they fall. BR Demons to join them, and Omit are able to find 2 eliminations, a barrel forward to really iron out that chokehold, and they're going to try to stabilize. Now look at the timer here. We got about 20 seconds before that ring starts to filter through, and we have to push through the open with minimal cover to be able to get where Passion UA has set up.
This is exactly where I'm going. Evac. If you have one, if there's one on the 6 bodies around you, use it. Because getting into the zone by foot will be really punished by Passion UA. That's what they're ready for. Evac Tower's a lot difficult to take advantage of.
Riddle Order have been riddled with challenges throughout the group stages, contesting on Storm Point against 2R1C, and have found themselves just outside the top 10. And to be fair, this position should be easily able to walk in towards that next zone, but taking an active position to be able to guard on that edge, looking for the rotations for Never to Change from Boogie Borders. But I'm very concerned with Geared Gaming's rotation towards Passion UA's momentum, but Cloud9 from the high ground have the prime area to take down WMNDY. The Nox gas trap grenade is gone out. We're barreling forward 3 seconds till we get more. Can we hold on to this?
Nox gas grenade, as you talked about, really cutting off the ability for WMNDY to push on the high ground. Great cooldown usage by Cloud9. Sets them into the top 11 squads, gives them high ground on the next zone. And I dare say, C9 have a real shot at taking this, since they should be the only team approaching from the south side.
You know, Alex, they told me that there's a sauce effect, right? We talk about all of those things, and that they're notoriously bad on Mondays. And today, thankfully, it's Saturday.
They won't be playing on a Monday no more. That's not, that one, not gonna happen for them. Riddle Order have lost Yukio for now. Difficult to hold down an area without Caustic, but not impossible for Riddle Order to survive on these supply bins. There actually isn't a lot of ways that you can be shot, especially when teams are firing at each other from the high ground. Teams like Geared Gaming were holding down on the south. We talked about how teams like here, teams like Passion UA do need to be concerned with how C9 will rotate into the next zone, and I can't help but wonder if Riddle will absorb the majority of that aggression.
Slayer on the high ground, throws the ult, swings with it, but it's not going to be enough. They will fall. And Oxygen Esports, only with 2 eliminations, but we're gonna start coupling that with the placement points, and from the tunnel we have cleared, we have rotated. We just have to get into zone.
Now, as we move in this game, you can tell on the right side of your screen what teams are alive, who is not, and where they're standing. Unitrope, Geared, Heroes in Cloud9. We got Never to Change with their crazy, wacky composition. Yet to move up from the bottom 20. Can they do it with this? Unfortunately, having lost Corrin, things are looking tough. With an Octane and a Revenant, a tale as old as time. Let's see what they can do.
Never to change, never to back down. Always willing to try something different. Those contests, they may have given them less, but the ring, it works harder. We were so close. What can Joker do? They fall to Heroes.
Never to Change tried, and it may not have come out well, but they certainly gave it their all. We'll see what Boogie Borders are up to as they rotate in on where Riddle held, previously coming face-to-face with C9. Trades on both sides. Passion UA get involved. Keynotrope go down 8 squads left.
It's going to open up the top of the leaderboard for some of our squads that are wanting more come from Cloud9, Sauce and Chaotic here as a duo into the top 8. The swing comes in. There it is. He wipes Boogie Borders. We were talking about the Sauce experience. For those of you who might not know him, now you will.
Instant Horizon ult on him as well. Cloud9 are getting pushed on the low ground. It's Geared Gaming who want their position. Chaotic holds the rock. Sorcerer takes the flank. Can they 2v3? Cloud9 find the first knock. It's Panic that goes down. Chaotic gets traded.
And this is where it gets scary. As soon as Zillich pops up onto that angle, Cloud9 fall into the final 5, but we're still looking for more. We're outskirts here with the rocks for cover, but this is not where you want to be able to go through. We can play this. There's also the rock in the center of the next, but Passion UA will have a remnant of the zone that's going to be available to them nearby the respawn.
Let's take a listen in with Omit real quick. They're in a tight position. Can they make it out?
Yep.
Play on me.
Yes, I'm doing it.
Jumping down left, jumping down left. Low up.
I've got that.
Blood time. I'm picking, blast with you.
They won. Run out of the weak.
Can you
Chill. Wait, there's more.
He got down. Crack him. One. I'm chilling.
Wait, what? Go 6 notes here.
That's me. I'm good. That's me.
There's still one. Scanning him. He's resing. I better think. Chill. It's 2. They're going the other side.
Resme, I'm good. I've heard that before. They're almost never good.
The words of a dead man. Riddle start moving up, looking at Omid, deciding whether they want to go for Geared on the low ground. Geared, who had such a fantastic performance today, but Saku finding some good damage through the smoke, is still fishing for the next Kraber shot.
But the thing is, that's straight onto Oxygen. All he's doing is helping Omid in that fight. Regardless, they fall, and Oxygen to join them. Riddle gets some free space, despite being a duo. Saku from Pulverex, Meltsera, previously known for competing on Fnatic, have really created an interesting trio for Riddle Order. A rogue EMP thanks to Passion UA to help them push on to Geared, but Sonya's left standing.
Max Strafe and Artico bit the dust immediately. Riddle contributing to their downfall, but it's going to be tight. Sonya takes the swing. Sonya almost finds the knock. Riddle are going to go for the third party, and Saku is in the sky.
Do they do this as a duo? They found themselves inside the top 10. Hey, it only takes 2 shots from the Kraber to take them down, you know?
2 shots left to make it 1. Riddle need an opener, and Saku loses so much of his health. Saku goes down. Zilash makes the killing blow, and it's just Meltsera left.
Meltsera, the world on your shoulders, and a 1v3. You know Geared are gonna swarm on it. The knockdown shields. Can we do it? No. Geared make light work of that cleanup and take map number 5.
South America back on top. Geared have won so many games through the course of the group stage, have taken it to enough with their performance in the elimination round 1, and now with that win, Tiff, secure themselves beyond a shadow of a doubt in the win, or rather, in elimination round 2.
Well, when you look at where those points are going to fall, if you're 29 points ahead of 10th place, you're good. You're good. Enjoy the journey. It continues on.
Now, there are a lot of teams that after that round aren't going to be as fortunate as Geared, but it's not just luck that got Geared here. A really ingenious approach to the zone and playing, honestly, spots that many teams wouldn't have thought to. You're noticing that they, as well as the other South American team out here, BR Demons, are changing up compositions to best match what counters other teams and what fits best for them. Geared, who are notoriously a zone team, started this entire competition playing Watson, playing hyper defensive, and now that we're in the elimination round, they've swapped to Horizon, they've gone aggressive, they've turned up the heat to pile on kills and take them to the next round.
And that's what you need to do. It's the key to success here, especially with so many different regions all coming together on this stage in the ALGS, the global series, right? And people will say at the end of the day, if you are adaptable, if you are flexible to the competition, that's how you succeed. Your match 5 results on the screen, 22 points towards Geared Gaming. But despite being a duo towards the end game, a 15-point game for Riddle Order, and another consistent double-digit game for Passion UA.
Passion UA are going to keep creeping their way up the leaderboard. Started this game in 14th, and I believe have moved up at least one spot. It's still not quite enough to make them comfortable, but ideally, in the next game, Passion UA will be able to find their secret to success. Oxygen, omit, C9, round out the next couple, but never to change, make the cutoff barely into top 10 for this game.
It's not going to be enough, though. We have one game left for NTC to really shoot them into the top 10, and I thought that was going to be the move for them. Boogie Borders found 2 eliminations for themselves. Jumping on over to the back half, LG found themselves in a rather dynamic situation inside the tunnels. Left standing with Slayer all alone and just getting swung by so many players. There's not much you can do. It's hard for a Caustic to anchor down and rat it out.
I've got to love teams like Wonton Dumpling. Disguised are doing this as well, but they've got such incredible highs. And at the same time, with games like this, such low lows. Wonton Dumpling went from wiping squads in game 4 and dominating the round, taking it all the way to a win, to a casual 0-point game. And while I'm not concerned for whether they'll move on to the next round or not, I can't help but giggle at the fact that they are going to continue with us on this emotional roller coaster.
I'm on an emotional roller coaster. We're one map away from potential, like sending people home. But for this now, let's look at the top 3 results and their stats that assist that. Passion UA there with 2,600 damage for eliminations. I can't help but notice a nice 1,400 out of Zillich, 1,400 out of Malzera, and Sonya, well, almost a 2K.
A lot of this is coming down to their ability to finish fights real quickly. Geared, the Horizon, I think, the biggest part of this, but even Riddle have departed from the meta a little bit. Passion UA doing the same thing. Not a single one of the top 3 teams from this game are running the standard Caustic Bangalore Bloodhound.
Yeah, that's true, right? Saku's locking in the Valken, notoriously had played Crypto in the past for Pulverix, so it's a very different role that we're locking into play here. But for our series results, think of it now. This is going to be the top moment because LG has found themselves in 11th place with one more chance to keep their journey alive. Sweet has never missed a match point finals.
1 point separates them from Omit as well, who are hovering just above. The same can be said for WMNDY, both at 30 points. Passion UA have crept their way up the leaderboards, but still need that one explosive game. And you and I know, Tiff, that in Game 6, especially when we're in elimination rounds, things change by a large margin. Teams get reckless, never to change. The prime example of that in our last game, swapping things up entirely to Revenant Octane out of desperation, needing kills, needing miraculous games to move themselves into the top 10. And Passion UA are going to have to play for the win while dealing with all of the teams that take that same approach.
Well, it's tough, right? You mentioned dealing with all the teams, dealing with a lot of things behind the scenes. I know Peeps had a chance to jump in with an interesting person to have a nice conversation. Some might say it has something to do with Disguise. We hyped up their merch earlier, but he sat down with the owner, Disguise Toast himself, who I've heard has had quite a nervous day.
I suppose we'll get to find out. I want to hear from Peeps.
What up, everybody? We are here in LA at ALGS, and we just found a surprise guest here. We have my man, Disguised Toast, one of the biggest content creators in the world. So, Toast, I got a question. Going from a content creator to now an org owner, how has that transition been?
It's been a lot of fun, a little stressful because a lot of things are out of your control. You're so used to being, you know, the driver of your own car, but now it's in the player's hand, and you just really have to hope the players perform and things go well.
Well, you got one of the best teams. I mean, these guys are passionate, as you've seen with the comms, right? So in my eyes, Apex is the best game in the world, right? Why did you decide to join Apex?
Well, I mean, I've always played a lot of Apex. I'm just so horrible at it. I just don't stream it because I'm like embarrassed by my gameplay. But I remember playing like when Apex first came out, just games after game, and the Battle Royale format is so different from all the other esports. Like anyone can always win at the very end. Like every team always has a chance.
You got to want it the most. You got to hit your shots. So now, from competitor to new org owner, right? There's been a lot of experiences that you've had. What was the biggest thing that you sort of learned along your journey?
Just always try and figure out like what's your advantage, like in anything you do. Like if you want to be a streamer, like what makes you different from the next guy who's just as good. Like if you want to be like a new org in esports, like what's your advantage over like the big guys like TSM and Cloud9. So you always got to figure out what your advantage is, because if you go into like anything without an advantage, no one's going to notice you. So that's the big thing.
No regrets, you know, with an A, like they say. Well, guys, that's it. This is Disguised Toast. Better make some noise for one of the most passionate org owners here at ALGS in LA, here supporting his team. Toast, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
If there's one thing I took away from that interview with Disguised Toast, it's that every team always has a chance, thanks to the Battle Royale nature here. But for those teams that are outside the top 10, that chance is now to give it your all, to continue the journey, to make a legacy happen. Iron out that mental here, especially if you're Design.
For 10 teams and 30 players up on this stage, this will be the last game that they play at playoffs, despite dominating regionally, despite making it all the way here. A team like Disguised has already secured their spot in Winners Round 2, and it's up to, as Disguised Toast would say, the other teams to find their advantage.
A heroic journey. Timmy, Enemy, Design, Bronzy in the back. I'm ready to see what they do here for the last match on World's Edge. But for the others, the remaining 60, all of you locked in here to World's Edge, grabbing your legends for the final battle.
Now we do have just a little while as the players lock in. We've already got some of the legend selects going on. You should be able to see it momentarily. But with teams like LG, WM, NDY, Passion UA, North Eption hovering just on the bubble, we're going to take a look at all of our players, all of the, as we said, teams that have given it their all over the past few days. LA, make some noise for your legends.
I want to hear the Galen Center go crazy. Shake everything about this building. Make it feel like an earthquake, because these players have been giving it their all, and they only have one more chance to prove themselves, to earn that right. Rain Day said it. Everything must be earned. It must be taken. Now take your space in the next round.
It's time to unleash devastation onto World's Edge. Dropship taking us south-north, giving teams like Navi, Geared Gaming, Tom Young-Kung, and Never to Change first drop advantage. Riddle, Order, and Disguise going to be joining them simultaneously as everybody moves from the south towards the next ring, towards what we're expecting to be an ultimate victory. LG still sitting as we said, just outside of qualification. Do fortunately have not just a Harvester, but a ring console right next door, and get to find out immediately where they'll be playing what could be their last game of the tournament.
Don't say that, I'm already starting to get a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. We always talk about that sweet, just a mastermind, 200 IQ when it comes, maybe even more, honestly, when it comes to the IGL. But when you pair yourself with two players like Funk and Slayer, who are newer to that LAN competition, maybe they needed this journey throughout the lower bracket in that elimination round 1 to fight for that, to get the experience, to get comfortable being uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, there's one thing to be said. You are still in the bubble. You're still outside the top 10.
Until this game is over, nothing is for certain. We did get a look at Boogie Borders earlier. They're going to be rotating out of Countdown. They've actually been a really fascinating team to watch. Seventh seed out of APAC South coming into this tournament. And right now, have one of only 6 players with a positive damage differential across all games during the Split 1 playoffs. Raki has really been holding it down for the team damage-wise, consistently hurting other squads more than he takes in Retribution.
11 points outside the top 10 is going to be North Eption. Taida is the only original member of the North Eption roster that we had seen at LANs in the past, picking up Yuka Predator from FC Destroy, paired alongside Razy. They've completely changed up their style of play, and I like it. The issue is they just have not been able to find that combination that nets them into a match point final.
North Eption running up against Hao right now. Hao in 19th place, North Eption in 14th. Should one of these teams go down, they will be eliminated.
And their journey will end here. So all is to be said. You can see the mobile shield there from the Newcastle, and Arcstar, though, with ease to find that way. Taida, I've seen him clutch up some of the craziest moments, but when you start getting picked away from the distance and are already forced into a defensive nature to try and heal, here comes the scan. They're going to get the information of the locations. We immediately start maneuvering across.
It's surprising to see North Eption disengaging so hard. They do have a little bit of height to hold on to. Could have actually fought this off, but are so, I hesitate to say afraid, I'll say cautious about taking a fight, about being eliminated here, that they've let Hao take an incredible amount of space, and this could be it. It could be North Eption giving up one of the biggest advantages they had and going down to the team in 19.
Well, I'm a little nervous about what they're doing here because Yuka did pick up an initial knock onto Hao, and instead they hit the full reset, they pop Beast to the hunt, and they're using it to swing around side. Then the L-Star, we know its prowess, we know what its ability, but WMNDY pick up Taida, and this could be the end of North Eption.
It's so crazy to see Hao being the one sending this, but WMNDY being the victors, picking up 2 KP so far. North Eption down to just a single member, and Hao, for all their trouble, have committed really hard to a fight that's gotten away from them, and now they're sandwiched by the Boogie Borders and MDY White.
I don't want to be Hao right now. Phase you, okay. Within the Bloodhound Olds, we're just reeling through it. Hao, our first team to go down. They will not be continuing here in the playoffs.
MDY White looking for future kills. Might not have expected Boogie Borders to be on the other end of this, and it's a nice disengage from them. Moving up little by little in the placement. Started the game at 17, have now started to creep their way further in. TYK on the other end of this engagement, taking some shots at the fight that broke out previously. And we're seeing the south end of Fragment, the south end of Monument become the happening place in this zone.
It's one of my least favorite areas on the map to fight here, and TYK are going to look for any angles, but when you open yourself up towards the choke, where the zone was pulling, a lot of teams are going to be working their way through here. So anytime that gets delayed in this, we're expending our utility, we're using our ultimates, we're looking to bait teams out to expend them before they actually fully send. Now, North Eption, one member was able to get away, and thanks to having Newcastle locked in, that support legend, will likely seek a way to craft banners and hit the regen.
LG playing this super slow, waiting for other teams to fall. I think relying on the fact that other squads are going to be getting aggressive around the map. It's already started to happen, even more so than previously, as Boogie Borders pick up a member of MDY White.
18 points for them, 32 the benchmark for 10th place as it stands. My only worry is, what is that aggression going to look like? Because for some of these squads, it has to be the best game of Apex they've ever played. MDY White has fallen. They're outside the top 10. They will not be able to make it a step further.
Well, it was just a solo. Real scary for Boogie Boarders to take, say, an unexpected amount of damage, especially when other teams should be rotating through this area. Teams like Na'Vi moving up through the south could catch Boogie Boarders off guard. But for LG, those slow players, those teams on the bubble, let's take a listen in and see how they're dealing with the pressure of Game 6.
Don't challenge.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm batting. I can't help.
We're gonna shot the back. We might have to run in the gas, bro.
I'm running gas.
Smoke us.
No smoke free.
Oh, bro, I'm dead here.
Fine. I'm batting behind this box. Almost got.
We're good.
Good
show.
lord.
I'm making syringes.
I'm Phoenixing. We see him run out north and reset this game. Hey up.
Run
Could
down
still
north.
be running NS. I have no fucking clue. Let's just wrap. Hard wrap, right?
Pop syringes.
Yep.
Oh, we need to chill. Holy fuck.
Need barrels there next time.
I did.
I've gold res. We need to know before they're out here.
Yeah, let's go to res. We're chilling.
Yeah, we're above. Oh, there's a team on this. There's a team on this northern ridge. They might be fighting. Wrap left. All those nades and shit. It's probably the fuse team. We might just need to gas wrap them.
Alright, I found again.
Yeah, keep wrapping left.
We don't have any heals, do we? One med kit, one range.
One med kit, 4 ranges. We see him walk out and fight these kids on the site. Get a big fuck 3 cut.
Only have one med kit now.
Walk up.
Wait, med kit?
Yeah, make it first. We're too far away now.
You want to walk up on the 10
Fight
here?
to that up here. Yep. I don't think anyone's up here.
Goodness.
We see like rat up here for a second. Sounds like they're getting into down below us. This might be a third here soon. Get ready to third this.
Yeah, man. You want to look down and shoot him? Well, they're in front of us, I think. In front of me. Marsh. No, it's a decoy.
They're trading. Get ready to end.
Alright, I'm gonna pop on.
Ready to maybe third from over here.
Pop on. You ready to end?
Yeah, let's go.
Go on. Scanning for you guys.
We see a fight the inside and then stabilize.
They took portal.
I'm looking behind us. You guys fighting there. They're getting...
Up top. Almost jump on. He's one. Push it, bro. Push it.
Cracked him.
Push him. I need res. Res.
Yeah. Getting bro down. Just res.
Res right here. I am. Go back.
Stopping the new team from coming.
Hit him 150 blue.
Six, I think. We're fine. He's outside. Batting.
Outside running. He's one. He's 1 HP. 1 HP solo out here, so. Oh, sweet.
Okay, fine. Yeah, I'm grabbing flash shields. Buzz, can we scan southwest, please?
Yeah, scanning them.
It's a full team playing Mirage.
My breath dropped the moment I saw them fall. The swing, the reset coming through, but BRD still trying to find their way into that building elsewhere. Riddle has fallen. They were sitting in 8th place at the 33-point mark, and it's going to be dangerous, and BR Demons, they're going home.
Coming back for the last members, not going to work out. BR Demons, one of our 2 South American representatives, will be going home after this, leaving it all up to Geared Gaming.
There's still time, but you look at the points as they stand. LGO mid-tied with 32 points. The benchmark they need to best is at least 33. We are so close to maybe feeling safer in this moment. You think back to the regular season in North America. Remember the pop-off moments that we've witnessed from LG specifically, pairing Sweet with the wingman, going off like crazy. But we need a safer rotation until we feel as if deep into the placement points, we can really unleash it.
You mentioned Riddle going down to the south, the very south end of this zone. Oxygen, yet another team who are on the bubble at 9th place right now, are being wrapped by Geared Gaming. Both teams noticed each other, instantly back off, but that's not going to stop these squads from ultimately having to run into each other.
This is an Oxygen special. Anytime the zone starts to pull towards the south of Monument, when it encompasses a large majority of the mountains and unplayable space, Oxygen will seek to control the choke towards the left side. And if they can can maintain that and force Geared Gaming to rotate over to the opposing choke point, that will allow them a safer place. But the job's not going to be done, because even when the zone closes, there'll be just a very small area that they can wrap that with ease. TYK and Navi on the other side could run into a lot of issues if Geared chooses that path.
Now for TYK, we're highlighting them mostly because of their ability to gatekeep these squads, right? We already talked about Geared on the low ground. Nobody wants to walk through TYK in order to access the next circle, so you have to pick. Do you take this horrendous high ground fight into TYK? Do you take an evac tower if you've got one? Or do you opt into the fight with Oxygen that you just avoided? Those are the decisions ahead of Geared Gaming, and it's going to really impact likely Oxygen the most. The other opportunity, of course, the evac tower, is going to take you into God knows what.
Well, I like where we're seeing Passion UA. The last time we had a similar zone that pulled into this, they had found themselves in a similar building as LG, as North Eption, and they fell outside the top 3 and were not able to get a lot of points. This time, with a similar zone, they're opting to play from the majority of Monument side. Their next course of action is going to be facing off against Kenotrope, your back-to-back winners of Map 1 and Map 2, who are already safe with nothing to lose. Passion UA, though, they have everything to gain.
Not much space to play, and that's what's concerning me right now. Artico, for all the information they're able to gather by using crypto, isn't going to be able to fend off Heroes with just one legend. They've got to watch their back as the duo from Heroes wraps around Passion.
This is okay, though, because Kenotrope has already sent Oxygen Esports. Now Passion UA, full sending with the advantage towards Heroes, takes them out, sends them to the lobby. But for now, they'll have to wait. They locked in at 5th place as it stands, but it opens the door for our teams to make their way into the top 10.
You better have a gen right now, because if anybody sees Passion UA, nades are going to start to fly into this card. There is no safe space to play, and a gen right behind them is a great play to keep Passion in the game. As it appears, nobody's really looking at them, however. Everybody way too occupied with the squads that have jumped into low ground. Teams like C9, never to change.
Well, for teams like LG, who need to play it safe throughout round 4 ring closing, C9 finding themselves in a hot mess over here, falling to the likes of Passion UA, who need every point that they can get. And from the train cart on the high ground, are able to take angles on NTC. But look at C9, we've got barrels down, we're hitting a res, and Oxygen just on the bubble, the cusp. Everyone's looking at them. If they fall here, there's a chance that LG will be able to hop into that top 10.
Oxygen have swung back onto Geared. The fight is finally taking place, and Bane's the first one to fall. Aid, a huge swing, does so much damage, but cannot find enough. Oxygen are down, and Geared take the win.
South America taking down a heavy-hitting squad from North America. That has been the story of the Year 4 Split 1 playoffs here at the ALGS. The other regions have come to play.
Really great play from Geared Gaming, and their spot's already secured. The real concerning part here is Oxygen, who were sat in 9th place and have the chance to be jumped past over the course of the next few minutes. They have got to watch this lobby in anticipation.
LG on your screen, Omid, tied for 32 points, need to find themselves 2 more points to nestle into the top 10. Riddle, Oxygen, WMNDY, 33 points, 8th through 10th place. This is the scariest lobby I've witnessed ever.
Omid is in a game-winning spot with a game-winning weapon. Difficult to hold on to, but with the Kraber, it should be all the easier. Team like LG, needing to fight out of low ground, has to mount a Herculean effort in order to surpass the points that Omid will be gathering in this game.
Well, this is going to make all the difference. With the rings at their back, they take down Boogie Borders. They find themselves into the top 10. Boogie Borders, though, they're going home packing.
Sweet, one more tick of the ring could do it. Sitting on 50 HP, manages to find a little bit of safe space to play, but LG could be the ones next up on the chopping block. There we go, Slayer falls, Sweet goes immediately afterwards, and LG go down in 10th place.
That is not a safe place, knowing that Passion UA, North Eption, so close to being able to jump over them. So you have to keep your eyes on Artico, Sonya, Max Strafe, because they'll be the deciding factors on if they send a Titan home.
Oh man, in a really sticky position right now as well. Have lost some members. WMNDY up against Passion UA on the other end of the screen. Passion UA is falling. Cloud9 are down, but WMNDY stay alive as Passion UA fall.
Passion UA, I swear, first time on land, 33 points, 1 point shy of making the move here for Omid in the top 10. They should feel more safe. The only team that can best this is we need a North Eption win.
Omid cracking into the top 10 now. As you say, have just 2 teams behind them. 2 teams so far behind them, however, that they should be safe. North Eption and Tom Young-Kung would need to kill almost everyone in the lobby and find the win to just beat out Omid. But LG is a lot less safe, Tiff.
I am not comfortable if I am Sweet, Funk, or Slayer. North Eption has fallen. That means Luminosity may live to see another day.
Omid very well could stay in here. Second place should be theirs. Spotting a team in front of them, WMNDY will have to push. Not as Sarah on the other side. WMNDY go on the push. Find Omid in the tunnel. There's nowhere to go, and it's all up to Blast and Lufka.
Blast, Lufka. So much competitive history between the duo that is left standing on your screen. So many eliminations, 6 to boot. Wingman comes out. They send a WMNDY out of our lobby, and they turn their attention forward.
Tom Young-Kung, the last team alive that could somehow, with a miracle, make it in up against Natus Vincere and Geared. TYK risk it all. They go for Geared, but they're losing so much of Asia's health on the way.
TYK, a last-ditch effort. They meet a historic run, but only have 2 eliminations, and Dexter has fallen.
With Rena finding that knock, it's almost sealed the deal for TYK. They should be falling out, but every team playing patiently. Geared searching for another win in the elimination bracket, and Na'Vi seeking their very first of the series.
Na'Vi want that. Na'Vi need that, but TYK need every elimination and more. And for now, Geared, they send over straight onto TYK. Asia looking to fend it off, trying to hit the reds. We want Dexter back on their feet.
I can't believe they got this, but Geared aren't committing just yet. Na'Vi are the ones going much harder. It's giving Geared the opportunity to wrap up onto them from the high ground. TYK go down. The final 3v3 starts ticking into existence. Na'Vi still hold height. Geared all the way on the low ground with an evac tower. And we cannot forget, Tim, the chance to use Horizon.
Zillich, keep your eyes. The turbocharged Havoc has been a nemesis this season, knowing just how OP it's been, but from the high ground, it's Na'Vi and Panic falls. Na'Vi looking to staple their names, keep their dreams forward, prove they're not just a 40th place team on land. Na'Vi find a map win.
Putting themselves in the top 3 of elimination round 1. This is Na'Vi back with a vengeance, breaking the curse, as you said. This is one more step closer to Matape finally overcoming the legacy that he previously set.
Kinda. Tyler, Matape have put in so much work to change the course of their fate here at LAN, and it is showing. Kinda such a young demon, historically played with Element 6, has won multiple MVP nominations throughout the regular season and is just amping up here on the stage.
There are 10 teams, of course, that get to move on to the next round. Another chance to fight for their tournament lives and for a spot in the finals. Na'Vi are one of them, but they're going to be joined by so many others. Omid, in fact, clinching their spot in that game was the performance that had my heart pounding the hardest.
For those whose journey ends here and goes home, our hearts go out to you. Thank you so much for bringing us all of your skills, everything that you've worked so hard for. And may your journey continue on again.
Now, with that, we are still looking towards the next round, but Tiff, I got one more thing to say. Geared Gaming really showed up this round. South America, they could be making the finals once again. All of their hopes are going to be pinned on Geared. I want to hear what the desk has to say about the series that we just witnessed and what we can expect moving into the next round.
Well, vamos South America. Geared Gaming take the win in our series, but it is bittersweet in the Galen Center. As you can see now, teams packing up some for the final time this weekend. Yes, we have sent 10 teams home. It is not an easy time for those teams that did not make the cutoff into elimination bracket number 2, but that is the threat of ending up in elimination bracket 1 after the group stage. It is real. Yet in the same way, Zephyr, Jayhawk, Graceful on the desk again, there is hope now for some teams. Notably, if you listen to this crowd, LG just narrowly making it out, rooting each and every time one of the teams that could have surpassed them got out. Let's take a look at series overall results for our elimination bracket 1, and there it is as it stands on the left-hand side. Those will be your teams that head into elimination bracket 2.
Once again, to reiterate, it's a fantastic start and something to at least paint some potential threats as we look towards our next elim round after winners. Geared Gaming, notably a massive success for the South American region that we had not gotten to see when it came out of those groups. And following them, I'm a little bit sad, but they still place high in second with 57 points. Kinatrope representing a lot of that openness that we started talking about early on in the broadcast that gave them their strategy to at least send them high alongside the rest.
And then I want to mention Navi and Wonton Dumpling. Wonton finishes first in their region, kind of an unknown factor, but a little slow the past 2 days. They finally show up today, a really strong set. And then Navi, can we talk about the storyline? They finished well in EMEA so many times. The last 2 lands weren't able to make it out of elim round 1. They finally do it, and they did it in style.
I'm happy to see more EU representation as well with Omid coming in, but also WMNDY staying strong. They have showed a strong performance throughout the whole tournament, in my opinion. Fell a little bit short, came back up right again, but you know what? I have to root for my boys. Cloud9, having repping that myself in the land. Always happy, and with my choice today being, you know, Disguised also came through. I've seen teams adapt really well so far. A little bit iffy though, because, you know, they adapted to this lobby. Can they adapt to the next one? Remains to be seen.
And they will have more to play with and play for. Teams on the other side of things, though, obviously Oxygen Esports. We had picked that Jayhawk as well. Did not make it. It was just 1 point that separated them. We can even go back into match 6 to see how that transpired getting to that moment. But Passion UA, another big story. Max Strafey finally getting to land, just narrowly missing out on that chance to go to finals, but a valiant effort. Jayhawk, walk us through somehow that final circle of some of the disappointments, but also why it worked out in the favor overall of Geared and these top squads to take.
Yeah, we get one of these zones that's just south of Monument and Fragment, and there's not a lot of playable space early, so we saw as the ring started to close, there's a lot of teams on the outer edge that are going to have to fight before they can move in. Omid takes the really one playable spot in the center of the map, but everybody else is on the edge fighting. TYK was one of those teams that effectively did clear their southern edge, but they didn't get involved enough in the action, so they narrowly miss out. Oxygen, another team out on the edge, wasn't able to win their fight against Geared, and that's the 1 point that they fall short of. If they win that, they're heading to the next round, and it felt like throughout the whole set, they were playing edge, but they weren't winning their fights out there. Riddle, another team just on the outside, doesn't do enough in this one, but LG, they get just the points needed earlier in the game, a clutch fight over Icicles to push them through, and in the end game, like I talked about with Navi in style, they come out, they get this big win, holding the height against Geared, and they're going through.
Graceful, you mentioned it so many times, just get 6 points each game. Well, they got 34, they got 4 and 1, but basically 6 across the board, and they were able to survive just barely. Not what you want to do, though, going into elimination bracket 2.
Yeah, you really don't want to leave it up to like one big game, because when you have like, you start to breathe heavy after, you know, first 3 maps are bad. Now you go into the next map saying, oh, we had a bad map. Can we turn it around on this map?
Yeah.
And you really don't want to leave it up to that last game. But as we could also see, that fire under them some teams needed that, and they pulled through just in the end, just in the nick of time, right? Even right on the mark at one point.
Maybe just to remind you of why you're here in the first place. Sweet, you know he knew it was do or die in terms of calling that wrap around in zone, making it through the pressure from BR Demons, fighting Northeption in that building, getting down and then getting Punk back up and doing it again.
I want to talk about Amit, though, real quick before we move on there. A huge shout out to them. People forget that before this series, they were actually out of it. They were down in 11th and 12th, and they had a remarkable game setting up on the top end of that zone. But as we kind of peel down, take a look at the rest of us, there were some attempts never to change. Boogie Borders, they had their chance. They tried to put up the KP, but when it comes down to it, making some of those long-winded transitions, especially from the edge, as you were pointing out, Graceful, it got particularly difficult, and as a result, their journey has come to its end.
Well, the world of Apex Legends has traveled to North America for the Split 1 playoffs, but right now, in this moment, after our Elimination Bracket 1, it is all South America. Yeah, that is the rave. We've got We the People standing by with Panic from Geared.
LA, what up? I am here with Panic from Geared Gaming. Absolute insane performance. You guys won the series. Before the SLAN, there was a lot of talk that the other regions outside of NA and EU wouldn't do too well. That's not the case. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that coming from South America is very hard, performing well in a LAN, but we did it. We have to play well in losers 2, it is, or winners 2. But I think we're capable of doing good.
You make me proud as somebody who was born in Brazil. Tá bom? It's crazy how ALGS is a global event, right? You have players from all over the world. Who is the toughest team to take a 3v3 against?
I think probably Alliance, yeah, or Dark Zero. Dark Zero is not losing any fight.
Yep, and outside of their, gun skills, what makes them the toughest teams to go up against?
Talking about guns, probably they are pretty good in long range, so you can't really get close to them and fight them good, yeah.
I mean, their mechanical talent is absolutely insane. So you told me before the interview that your family, your whole entire family is watching. What do you want to say to them? Say it in Spanish and in English for the crowd here.
Okay. Muchas gracias por apoyarme tanto siempre. Y nada, lo aprecio mucho, I said, thank you for your support, always supporting me. I appreciate it a lot.
It's nothing but love here. Shout out to South America. Shout out to you guys in the crowd. Casters, take it away.
Thank you, peeps. Panic from Geared Gaming. Congratulations yet again on making it out and thriving in our Elimination Bracket 1. But Elimination Bracket 2 is upon us later on in the day. You will see Geared Gaming, Panic, and the rest of the squads you just watched there. But in a moment, we have more to discover. That's right. Who will be going into our match point finals on Sunday? We are about to find out. Coming up today in just a little bit at 2:30 Pacific time, we're going to be going straight ahead into our winners bracket. That's where the conversation of can Dark Zero continue their historic record-setting one of over 240 points in the group stage and do it against the best teams who have performed alongside them. Aurora, Alliance, TSM, all of that coming up in just 45 minutes, so do not go anywhere. Also, if you want to follow us on Play Apex Esports to keep in touch with everything that we're doing, make sure to do that on X and, of course, twitch.tv/PlayApex. That's it for right now. Go take a little bit of a break. We will be right back, though, with the winners bracket. We're sending 10 teams to Sunday. You don't want to miss it.
squads, it's them, it's still the solo from WM and EY.
The whole crew celebrating, stand up, relish it. You know Geared are gonna swarm on it, the knockdown shields. Can we do it? No, Geared make light work of that cleanup. The Galen Center is packed. Na'Vi looking to stable their names, keep their dreams forward. Proof they're not just a 40th place team on Lynn. Na'Vi find a map win.
Alienware, the official PC and monitor partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
Every world is the same. You give them one tiny push. Suddenly they all fall apart. And I get to play with the pieces. This world is so fragile. How adorable. They've locked the door. I'm gonna take this. You're clearly done using it. This cat and mouse game is getting boring. Time to end it.
Hope you're not expecting a thank you.
How tragic. I've ended worlds. What is one measly legend? Not done yet, Dad. This bird's got fangs. Took down some prey.
Thank you, EA, for sponsoring this video.
TSM might take game number 1. That's gonna be a 1v3. The drop down at TSM, baby.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
Come to land for the food.